Oh wow, is that another MFN Germany run in TNO? Yes, it is. Today, after this man hits the hay forever, we'll be playing as Speer. And we won't be doing just Speer, because that's the final one other than the Gang of Four. But I'll do that at a later date that we need to do. No, we're also going to do something very special. See this Einheitspact? It needs to be bigger. That's right, we are going to be SPHEREMAXXIng in this series. As I have received a classified document which states the following. Attention Führer. This classified document from the supposedly 63 years in the future has the key plans for expanding our Unity Pact and freeing the world from Japanese and American imperialism and control. Germany and the world's fate hang on the fact you heed its strange advice. So I would like to give a special thank you to the Hindenburger / Cooper McGee / Amin for going through the trouble of making an OFN maxing document specifically for me so that we can make a big old sphere. And he did warn some things might be outdated, some things might be wrong at this point, but overall it should be good enough to help us do a sphere maxing run as either Speer or Bormann. And since we've already done Bormann in the past, I want to try it as Speer, go Dengist Speer maybe, because that seems to be the most fun from what I read online. If I can make it happen in the first place, you know. And then expand our Einheitspact tremendously. Let's also start building up a bunch of hospitals everywhere we can. Are we lacking anything? Anti-air equipment and transport helicopters. We also can make attack helicopters. Very important. I love attack helicopters. If you've seen me play TNO, you know attack helicopter units are the meta. I'm probably not going to be using them in the German Civil War, just because I'm afraid maybe the enemy will also have attack helicopters. I don't want to deal with that. But yeah, for now, let's go through the motion of the ocean. Well, look at that. The final frontier has been conquered. We have a man on the moon. The enemy of my enemy. Let's approach America and go for the Speer proposal for improving the... assassination strike by the Japanese on the Führer. That's not good. And today, Hitler addresses the nation. 4 candidates have been speculated for days. Martin Bormann, expert politician and head of the party, is a staunch conservative and believed the most likely candidate. Also believed highly possible is a militarist Hermann Göring, the beloved uncle of the nation if Hitler is the father. Another name being put forth is Albert Speer, one of the Führer's closest friends, who has advocated for extensive reform within the Reich. Finally, some have even suggested naming Reinhard Heydrich as his successor. There's only one choice for us. The reformer, Albert Speer. It's Speer hoodie time. Damn, that's been so long ago. I remember one of the first campaigns in TNO was as Speer. I'm pretty sure it's been so long. It's probably very different from how it used to be. In fact, I barely even remember what happened. I remember there being a slave revolt at some point. But we'll see how it goes this time. Oh, is the focus gone? Okay, sure. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Albert Speer stood by the window as Adolf shuffled into the room, muttering to himself. Those large blue eyes settled on Speer's face as he smiled, shuffling over to join his friend in the sunlight. He suddenly hailed Speer with a jovial croak, lifting his trembling arm in salute. The action threw him off balance, and he stumbled forwards with a groan. Speer instinctively grabbed the old man's shoulder and steadied himself carefully. Heil Hitler, Speer said with a sad smile. You must be careful, Adolf. I did not come here to see you collapse from an old joke. I came here to give my humble gratitude at being named your successor. His tone turned serious. I wish to see the German Reich last 1,000 years, but I don't think this can be achieved without a serious change in policy. Göring calls me a radical, as if he actually has any convictions. That man would stuff his cabinet with Jews if it meant a fresh cluster of medals and a fancy new suit. As for Bormann, that balding little weasel, Hitler suddenly spat, his face contorting in anger. Martin and Hermann, they want everything. They don't realize I cannot die. The Führer glared at his economic minister. with feverish eyes. Hitler's Germany and Germany's Hitler. If I die, the Jews will descend upon our carcasses like vultures. An eruption of rasping coughs exploded from his throat. He gripped Speer's shoulders intensely, his face growing redder by the second. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The door suddenly burst open, and a cluster of the Führer's personal guards streamed into the room. Rochus Misch held onto the Führer's arm and pulled him into the door, glaring at Speer with distrust. Before Speer could say anything, his old friend had been taken away. His bemused silence was punctuated only by the incessant ticking of the clock. It's only a matter of time before shit hits the fan, essentially. Students are protesting, and while many in the government demand harsh action, nobody knows what real harsh action they can take to a movement so large and so disorganized. While threats have been made against the protesters, they remain undeterred as their numbers swell. With no central alternative, there's no head for the government to cut off. Yep. The Tages des Verrats is what they're calling it, the day of betrayal. Betrayal against the people of the Reich by their leaders, their police, their military, by everyone. Police in Aachen took it upon themselves to open fire on a crowd of teenagers who had started a small riot outside of the local Orpo station. What had started as a police shooting has sparked a massive riot across the city. Aachen is now burning as Orpo units there struggle to hold their lines against furious crowds of rioters. The action hasn't been limited to Aachen, with both protesters and overzealous Orpo officers across the country taking up arms in inspiration. Yeah, we're gonna fall apart. There it is, the Gang of Four. The Reich is a granitic edifice, firmly under the Führer's control and utterly dedicated to the glorification of the German people and National Socialism. It's not at all what it truly is. The country lies in decay and stagnation, and one group of people have taken it upon themselves to champion the most radical change of them all. Albert Speer and his Gang of Four. Kurt Kiesinger is a prominent member of the NSDAP, with deep connections to many organs within the Reich. While charismatic and cautious, his reformist views didn't endear him to the conservative leadership. Ludwig Erhard is an extremely respected out of Germany, that is, economist, who has already predicted the economic collapse. Of course, in a modern version of Cassandra's tale, no one listens to him until it's too late, and his vehement criticism earned him many enemies. Helmut Schmidt is an expert diplomat who joined the NSDAP mainly to cover the fact that he hates National Socialism with a vengeance. His ambitions far outstrip his rank. Having managed to live this far, Schmidt plans to bring change to Germany. If his guilt does not overwhelm him, Henning von Tekschau is yet another enigma. A man shown as the shining image of Prussian ideal, who is himself averse to the strictness of military life, but maintains the prim and proper stereotypical Prussian spirit in public while working fiercely to undermine National Socialism. Maybe one day, if we play as the Gang of Four, we can actually bring democracy to Germany. I should definitely play it as them in the future as well. Oh, this is the event where Hitler starts rambling about some random stuff in his speech. Then the crisis is averted because someone takes over. That's good. I'm not gonna read the events that are pretty much the exact same, I think. Like this one, for example. I've read it before. Essentially, Burgundy smells blood. They're waiting for a chance to pounce on us soon. Göring was picking at his dinner at Karinhal. He should have been satisfied. The food was terrific. Emma was beautiful as always, and, well, those priceless paintings had not yet lost their glamour. Given how many he had collected since the war, he really should have been enjoying himself, if not for his guests. What we need is conquest, the thing that made us masters of Europe in the first place. Day by day, our grasp on Europe grows ever more tenuous, and I shudder to think what might happen once our great Führer dies. That was at least what Ernst Riemer. Oh, how Göring detested the angry little man. Göring knew that he was one of the key architects for the suicidal war plans. Well, I can tell you with great certainty that the last few decades of stewardship under our great Führer have reaped nothing but dividends. I mean, we were the first to get the man on the moon. I think there are still some years left yet in our Third Reich. After all, we are not even yet close to the 1,000 years. Am I not right, Reichsmarschall Göring? Wilhelm Stuckart was a longtime friend, supported an ardent National Socialist. As far as he knew, Europe was theirs and the future of the Reich was no longer about further conquests. Well, Göring looked at Schörner's lackey before returning his gaze towards Wilhelm Stuckart. Before he had a chance to answer, the militarist interrupted him and condemned the weak-willed bureaucrats for the anemic economy. Stuckart, of course, did not take it sitting down and leapt up in indignation to begin what would be a shouting match between him and the ardent Schörnerite. Alright, whatever you say, you two fools. Yeah, build some forts, please. Dear Reichsminister Speer, as Reichsmarschall, I must congratulate you on becoming the chosen successor of our Großgermanisches Reich. To celebrate this historic moment, I wish to extend a cordial invitation to a dinner at Karinhal. I've been told you are a man of expensive taste, and on that front, I believe that Karinhal is second to none. I have also heard that you are a man of many ideas and reforms, one who wishes to bring the Reich to new heights. Although my past exploits were of a military kind, one thing I have learned in my time as a politician is this. One can never have too many men to keep the peace when less imaginative minds wish to keep things the way they were. For such fiends, I can only recommend the bayonet. I understand that your gang of four would be your main advisors, but perhaps there is room for one more. My popular support and military prowess would be no doubt shore up further support for your cause. Alright, he's trying to weasel his way into us. It could be useful for now. Albert Speer thought it was amusing how informal and relaxed the letter was after reading and rereading it. The letter barely seemed the type of correspondence that would be far-reaching consequences on the Reich Speer was to inherit and manage going forward. For a moment it was tempting. Göring was a media darling and someone who would no doubt move a lot of fence-sitters towards his side, but everything else about him was more trouble than he was worth. Primarily his very nature would create an imbalance in the already fragile gang of four. His old saber-rattling reputation would put him at odds with Schmidt, and his terrible economic ideas would no doubt butt heads with Erhard. Göring too was a man who enjoyed the spotlight and would probably try to steal it from old silver-tongued Kiesinger and, well, Trekschau. Herr Speer, Trekschau is waiting in the lobby to see you. Speak of the devil. Oh, send him in, please. Thank you. Trekschau would be the one to handle this. Göring and Trekschau were never amicable in the first place. Perhaps Schörner would enjoy knowing about this also. Of course, the details could all be handled in due time. When Trekschau opened the door, he was surprised that Speer was standing up and waiting for him, seeming more animated than his usual self. For once, perhaps, they may yet agree on something. Pity. I would have enjoyed to visit Karinhal. Göring strolled out of his office with a sigh. His gambit had failed. He was webbed to the militarists for now. A letter to the successor was leaked, and Schörner came calling about his betrayal. Göring had lied to him. The conservatives had sent the letter without his knowledge and set up the meeting. By a stroke of luck, Schörner believed him. But Göring knew that Naumann wouldn't. It wasn't as if he didn't try. Explaining to the Reichsminister how the militarists had done that on his behalf, after all they'd been through, Göring had thought there would have been some quotable last words on either side. But Naumann didn't even manage to finish his sentence before hanging up on Göring in exasperation and disbelief. In one phone call, his conservative support had died. The Führer was not French, let alone one called Napoleon. However, now Göring looked at the painting with a new sense of empathy. If Schörner and his war plans were successful, then he would no doubt go down in history as one greater than Napoleon. Göring knew deep down he was no Napoleon. Even with the greatness of the Reich, the later war plans would be near impossible to achieve. And one day, when his armies falter and his people groan, he wondered if someone would ever make a painting of him. Okay, it looks like Hitler went on his balcony, started ranting about Jewish Bolsheviks and making pretty much zero sense. Luckily, Bormann arrived and after 10 minutes managed to persuade Hitler to go back inside. And no one thought anything weird about it. Just like, oh, one of those normal Adolf Hitler speeches. He's definitely not becoming delirious at all. Let's also improve conditions and increase our legitimacy. Speer leaned against the balcony in weariness, inhaling the crisp air. The image of the Führer entered his mind once more, a frail figure wrapped in freshly stained bedsheets. He opened his eyes and stared in solemn retinence at the setting sun. "It was wise of you to bring the Führer here," Speer said to the man beside him. Dr. Brandt, also staring into the distance, nodded. "There are worse places to take personal residence than the Berghof, even if that fool Schaub keeps undermining you. Karl, I need an honest answer. The public are getting suspicious. Will he recover?" "It isn't likely," Brandt said quietly. "I need you to do something for me, Karl." Speer placed a reassuring hand on Brandt's shoulder and stared deeply into his eyes. "You told me earlier that Bormann sends one of his lackeys here at 3 p.m. every single day to deliver a report to the Führer. Well, I will send my own man earlier in the day to give you a different report. When Bormann's lackey arrives, I want you to inform him that the Führer is asleep, but you will dutifully pass on the report when he wakes. Instead, you will deliver my report to the Führer and send Bormann's report to me." Speer could see the apprehension on the doctor's face. "I trust you with this, Karl. You're my friend. Besides, am I not the rightful successor?" The race has only just begun. The triumvirate collapses? Ideally, I want Italy to win the war against Turkey as well. We have no way of helping out with that, sadly. I would have loved to send in some volunteers, but we cannot. Because if they do win and get a lot of influence in this region, once we do get the fight for Italian influence, we can get all of Italy and their puppets and spherelings into the Anhats back together. There's the War of the Desert. Can I really not send anything in? No, sadly we cannot. I just hope that Italy wins. Though it doesn't look likely. Although saying that, it could be doable. Let's bring more hero divisions to our side. We need a lot of dudes. Look for more opportunities and bring more divisions to our side. Oh, the Dominican Republic. There we go, our first geopolitical situation. Let's help out. And share our over-the-horizon radar, which we just finished researching. That's why I was beelining it towards here. I usually leave the radars be for like a longest time, but I knew I needed it to send into the Dominican Republic. Oh no. Another health problem with Hitler. He's having a seizure. That's not good. Oh, but that's perfect. Italy wins the Italo-Turkish War. Keep coordinating with the Dominican Republic. And now Madagascar is also falling apart. We'll have to help out in there too. They're not quite, the rebellion hasn't happened yet, but it will very soon. Uh-oh, tremors in the Burgundian soil? That is not good. They've developed a nuke. Hitler's health is also critical. We do not like the sound of that. Rebellion impeding in the Dominican Republic. Okay, it's happening. Same thing with the Madagascar order continues to crumble, but we still have time for that one. Hitler has entered into a coma. That's not good. It's not good at all. And there it is. The fall of Madagascar. A new page will be added to the conflicts. Alright, now what we need to do is make sure that our contribution is higher than the French, so that we can essentially just take over the colony for ourselves. Our grip in Madagascar grows firmer. That happened pretty much instantly, though its fate now relies entirely upon us. It's no longer the colony of Madagascar and dependencies, it is the Militärverwaltung Madagascar, and Emile Maurice becomes the leader over in there of the National Socialist Party. Oh, actually, I do have 2 helicopter divisions. I want to keep them separate. And if I can, maybe... Oh, this template is locked. The changes. I would like to get 4 divisions, just in case. Oh, I cannot change these either. I don't think I can change anything. Never mind. These are our... Damn, that's actually an ass template. I cannot change them at all. But still, it's the best helicopter division that we have, even though it's kind of sad looking. This is what we'll be sending into Madagascar then. We've almost got control over every node. Oh, it's finally starting, I think, right? Militärverwaltung, can I send you volunteers? I can send you 5. God damn. 2 of them will be helicopter divisions, but the rest will have to be regular divisions. Send in airplanes, which we can only send 1 air division out. That is just sad. Come on, get to there already. Jesus. One, the Dominican Republic also declared war. Can I help out? Might need to slow down time. And can we actually send in volunteer? I don't think we can, right? But it should be fine. Oh, my dudes finally have arrived. Okay, that's good. Let's slow down time as we march our troops in everywhere. Oh, our manpads are being used to great effect as well. Good. We defeated the disconnected settlements. Nice. Clean up all of this mess. Go up north, please. There we go. This dude is crushed. Nice. And now maybe we can go through here. I don't think we need anything else to protect the military Falcon. That bunch is pretty much dead. How's this looking? Not good. Well, at least Madagascar is stable, so I think we should be able to send all of our command power towards, what's it called? The Dominican Republic. What the fuck? Where did that guy come from? Lower the strength of the insurgencies. It seems that they've got it back under control somewhat. They're still on the losing side, I think. But you never know, maybe they might get lucky and win. Get that sensible economy going. Oh, look at this massive encirclement that we got. That's great. That's actually great. That's hopefully a lot of dudes dead. Like, permanently. Oh, never mind, we actually won. We didn't get to kill off those troops. Oh, I think we did it. The Dominican Republic won. And the Adler over Madagascar. Oh, that's perfect. Uh-oh. The rebellion, it's starting to crack. Ukraine has demilitarized zones. It's not long before Adolf dies. Japan launches an invasion on the Philippines. Sadly, we cannot intervene with that, right? That's between the Japanese and the Americans. General Commissar of Tver has been assassinated. Ooh. And the Yasuda has collapsed. Damn, everything is collapsing with both us and the Japanese. If anything, I'm surprised that the Americans don't have their own collapsing event. Now, what do we want? Maybe more here divisions. We're almost done with our focus tree, though. At least until the Reich collapses completely. Things are going to get worse before they get better. And at this rate, it'll be quite some time before the Reich is able to achieve economic reform. Ooh, thank you, Norway, for giving us your money. There we go, we've done it all. Oh no, too little, too late. The final focus before the inevitable civil war kicks off. Russia is starting to consolidate. I'm not a huge fan of that. Let's get more Speer legitimacy. Do we divert equipment? No, I want more units. And now we await. Since the establishment of the All-Muscovite Congress by Mikhail Oktan, Bronislav Kaminsky, and the other trustworthy Russian collaborators in the Reichskommissariat Moscovian, the Congress has attritionally gained privileges by showing its loyalty to the Führer and to the Greater German Reich. As a result of these privileges, it is accurate to refer to the Congress as the main political body of Russian collaborators in the Reichskommissariat. A certain steady, reliable rhythm had been established in the months and years since the first meeting of the All-Muscovite Congress. There are two major factions, the Union of Struggle Against Bolshevism, led by Mikhail Oktan, and the People's Socialist Party of Russia under Bronislav Kaminsky. These two factions dispute over the correct way for the Russian people to serve their rightful German rulers. Amidst the factional disputations, progress is still made, anti-partisan proposals and measures are discussed and planned, subject to approval by the Reichskommissar Globosnik. Promises to the Russian people, the offer of submission to the Greater German Reich, are repeated as they have always been. Some of them know their place. Well, we'll see how well that ages. Yeah, it looks like the Japanese managed to win over the Philippines again. So look, it's gonna be a strong co-prosperity sphere, sadly. He lies catatonic on his deathbed, alone except for his physician seated aside. Outside the room lie 100 million souls in terrible waiting, yet his consciousness is in an empty bliss beyond the world. His eyes flashes by him in reverse. He recalls her funeral, how his heart broke, and only his reverence to his motherland remained. The Cathedral of Light during the victory parade after the war. The long conquest against Judeo-Bolshevism he mercilessly fought. The world's powers in awe of Germany at the Olympic Games. His struggle to break the old order with blood and steel. The house of his parents, where he first dreamt to end all dreams. The stream ends with one final shot of morphine. His worn eyes open from the injection. He looks around as if searching for something, Behind the sliver of luminance left in between the curtains, he sees the Volkshalle bathed in sunlight. He shifts his gaze, and for a fleeting moment, she is there, her apparition fading. He whispers in his last words, a single tear welling in his eyes, Eva, and then Adolf Hitler is no more. We lose 300 political power. Speer ascended the steps with a thudding heart. Brandt had summoned him from Germania with just 4 words, we need to talk. Although he had been too paranoid to say any more, over the last week, Brandt has ousted a spy among the Berghof staff and uncovered bugging devices in every room. Whatever the doctor had to say, it was to be in person. Deep down, Speer knew what this meeting would herald. He looked up to see the solemn Brandt standing awkwardly at the front door, greeting him with a limp salute. He's dead, Brandt whispered. A wave of emotions washed over Speer, grief, anger, the ice-cold sense of dread. Brandt said something else, but Speer wasn't listening. He wanted to drift back to the first time he and Hitler had met. He wanted to reminisce about the countless hours the two of them spent planning the Germania project. He wanted to replay the final lucid conversations they had held. Yet this was not the time to be idle. The future awaited, and it demanded a clear mind. The hours grew into days. Soon rumors had spread throughout the Reich. The Führer was dead. The Reich was officially leaderless. Reichsminister, Speer's secretary burst into the room. I've just been informed that the Reichstag met today to discuss Hitler's health or death. The emergency council meeting refused to legally pronounce you as Führer. They said it was a time for mourning, not ceremony. Speer shot to his eyes with a curse, to his feet with a curse. His mind was racing faster than ever. Germania had slipped from his grasp. There was no time to lose. War was coming, and extensive preparations had been made. It's time to go for the inevitable civil war. Get more equipment, and after an abrupt speech, everyone goes their own way in preparation for the civil war. People are breaking away now. Bormann is making moves. Heydrich rises up. Speerians rise up. Like the gamers that they are. Where's my units? I got 2 dudes, what the fuck? And Bormann now also breaks away. With this, the German Civil War will begin. With Germany in collapse and anarchy in the streets, foreign powers have already begun debating what to do. The United States and Japan have both already begun looking into how to exploit the chaos, and Iberia and Italy have quickly begun militarizing in order to carve out further influence in the chaos. The Reichskommissariats, ostensibly loyal vassals of the Reich, sit in chaos as well. Their leaders debating on who to support, on whether or not it is time to begin distancing their realms from the homeland. And just like that, we have collapsed and are going to be dragged into a civil war. Germany has fractured. The civil war is upon us, and we must somehow survive. First off, we start off by, organizing our army properly. And also slow down time. What do we need for our armies? We apparently even have a navy. Why, I do not know. Not much of an air force, but that's okay. What are we lacking? I think we're lacking pretty much everything. Anti-air, anti-tank, towed artillery. Well, motorized probably as well. Infantry. Anti-air, anti-tank. Support equipment. Towed artillery as well. A main battle tank. You know what? For now, I'll use the MBTs. And then fighters and CAS. Very important. I'll put 5 factors on each one of them. There we go. For now, this will be enough, right? I feel like I don't really need civvy factories right now. We got bigger fish to fry currently. Let's get the supply consumption right away, because I'm pretty sure we don't have great supplies at the moment. Oh, actually, if you guys stay here, I could cut off this tank right away. Never mind, they have a dude in there already. Although I am pretty much pushing in instantly. Never mind. Let's get our limited air force out for now. Let's maybe get some dudes trained up as well, maybe? Can't really make that many, but this will be a good start. Well, 26, that's actually pretty decent. It's pretty damn great, in fact. There we go. We got some strength. I will tell them I'm gonna take Kiel. The new boys in here. Keep these ones in check for now as well. Good. We cut off some of the boys. I think, yeah, we'll focus on there in the first part. Keep Kiel going. That's okay. One of these dudes can stay. There we go. A bunch of Germans dead forever. They're not the right color of Germans, so they get no mercy from us. There we go. Another cute encirclement. Crush. For the last decade, the German government has invested millions of Reichsmark into Gotland, the Gau created from the ancestrally Aryan region of Crimea. In time, the territory has proven to be by far the most successful example of Germanization in the Eastern Territories, in its well-developed capital of Theodorichshafen. Theodorichshafen? I guess? Theodorichshafen. I think that's what they're trying to say, yeah. Is a hub of both military control and local tourism. Yet current developments seem to be placing the Gau at the direct threat of annihilation. Gotland, unlike most of Germany, has avoided the specter of civil war, with the Gauleiter Franz Meyerhofer remaining largely neutral. However, the specter of banditry looms ever larger as partisans see key victories in Ukraine. Gotland faces an existential crisis. The result has been a collapse in the economy and stability of what was once a fairly well-off region. One more Gau falls to the civil war in one way or another. Yeah, they're all falling apart. I guess we'll see how that goes in the future. Let's kick him out of the Kiel Canal, maybe. Shouldn't be too difficult. There we go, they're out. Bohemia sides with Speer, you goddamn right. Convert some more legitimacy into influence, please. Kiel captured, but the war continues. Hell yeah. We did say we were gonna take it, and take it we did. Come on, crush them. Yep, that's these dudes dead forever. Well, they haven't quite realized it yet, but I think now they did. They're gone. How many did I kill already? Göring, ooh, buddy. I don't think Göring will be the winner. Actually, does Göring have... No, he does not have a focus tree. They removed him, so he rarely wins. Moving further. Crush this motherfucker real quick. Oh, Rostock. I did not know we could have gotten Rostock as well. No, it wasn't one of the things. But still, we got legitimacy. Start uprisings everywhere, please. And steal, maybe. Crush. Crush. Students are rising up in support. Perfect. There we go. These 4 dudes join up in here. There's 4 more in here. You guys go in there. Oh. Let's see if we can get to Danzig. And this army, if possible, in here. I think I will go for Danzig then. We need more influence. Capture Danzig. I mean, we're about to get it. Get to Königsberg, please. Oh, I did not see these two. Let's see if we can break them out. We can. Actually, quite successfully, in fact. Someone pieced out. It wasn't. No. No one of ours, then. Give me mixed equipment, please. I could get to Leipzig soon. I might try that. Königsberg did indeed get captured. Nice. Okay, and here we're also breaking through pretty damn well. I think Heydrich is gonna die soon then. Meantime, we will eliminate these dudes nice and quickly, right? Shouldn't be too tough on us. Start an uprising, start an uprising. Let's try Leipzig next. I think we can also do like a general assault at this point, right? Look at that, green all around. We've killed off so many at once. We lost 22,000, we killed 200,000. This civil war is pretty much in my favor now. Did not yet get Leipzig, but I will. There goes Strasbourg, captured. Convert some more legitimacy, please. Start another uprising. It's mostly because I want to use those troops. Well, close up the pocket already. Get Heydrich out of here. Damn it, they took back Königsberg. The assholes. Alright, let's move in through here as well. And I want to check. München is still a ways away. Dude, how many units are in here? 7? I've captured? Okay. Goodbye. Stuttgart retaken. All the way to Memel, please. Ah, Bohemia is dead. They were a great distraction for a little while. Come on, I want Heydrich dead. Take Weismark. Or Weisberg. Then Königsberg. That should be enough, right? Let's ask the Ofen for weapons. Or everyone around us, pretty much. There we go. We got Königsberg back. These 2 extra units will reinforce this, which I'm quite happy about. Pump these ones out. And stop attacking maybe for now. Crush this dude that we've encircled as well. No, I was like, oh, we finally defeat them? No, we have not. We have not finally defeated them yet. Oh, new units? Never mind, those are the 20. I don't know how I keep forgetting it. Those are the units that I made. There we go. We got 3 full 36 stacks. It's a very good start. Also, I should probably take these units. Damn it. There we go. Take these units. Guard only this. Take these units. And guard only this. Let the front line reorganize. And there we go. Finally, Heydrich is dead. But that was actually Bormann. Never mind. Heydrich is still not dead. That's ridiculous. But then again, you know, they know what's going to happen once they get defeated. There's no mercy for the SS. I've been itching to crush them. It's just me and Bormann. And honestly, put the odds in my favor. I just want to finish up Heydrich already. Jesus, come on. Finally. After those 2 tiles fall, he should give up, right? He better. There we go. Now it's a 1v1. Start an uprising, sabotage. Let's get München maybe. An attack from all sides. They should not be able to hold out. In fact, we already got pretty much encirclement. Yeah. We're so close to München. Nuremberg captured. That's where we're going to put all the other traders. Have a cool little trial there. München, there we go. Start another uprising. Disrupt supply lines. Oh, weapons from Italy arrive. And do we go for Vienna as well? It's very close by. You know what? Fuck it. I don't think they can stop us. The front line is so thin for them. It is pretty much over already. Yep, we got Vienna. This is it. Bormann, say goodbye. And he did say goodbye. We have united all of Germany under ourselves. That Leipzig has fallen. 3 cheers, we have won. There were some tensions in war-torn Germany, while Speer's supporters and the populace of Germania both awaited news of whether or not Speidel would allow his entrance into the city. A collective sigh of relief answered, however, when it was announced that Speidel and Rommel's men would not protest Speer's entrance in the city and gave the soldiers guarding in their first stand-down order since the war had begun. The war is finally over. What is this stack? What are all these units? We got a lot though. Stop training that. We do have some helicopters divisions, which I would like to keep separate from everything else. Oh, and now open a German industry tab. Okay. Zollverein. What do we need to do with it? We need to break the companies and put them under our own control. Okay, we can definitely do that. And just in time, because we need to intervene in the south. So I'll leave the industry for now alone as we kind of get our bearings straight. Let's do some airplanes. There we go. That'll be fine for now. I guess we need strategic bombers as well? Sure. That'll be fine. From what I understand, I need to be somewhat balanced. And this while, you know, making sure our regime's stability stays on top. What are the pact decision? Oh, okay. So the Dutch problem. Let's start with that. Can we get the Dutch back? Speer is victorious. From the steps of the Reichstag today, Speer has announced that he has finally secured his place as the Führer of Germany. Armed soldiers from the 6th Panzer Division and hundreds of armed militia fighters who had taken him to Germania surrounded the Reich's new leader, as he announced that he would be bringing Germany into a new era of prosperity and enlightenment. Alright, we do need a lot of administrative buildings as well. Build those ones up, please. Another lucky event, we did get to keep Bulgaria. Apparently Bulgaria tends to fall away often. Wait, since when is the French state in the Reichspakt? I mean, I like it. Thank you very much. Or in the Einheitspact. I keep saying Reichspakt, it's Einheitspact. And now the meeting with the Dutch. There is much reason to rejoice with the civil war over and the heart of the Reich under the banner of its new leader Albert Speer. For the reunification of the Volk, however, there remain many battles to be won. The Germanic people of Europe are divided, scattered across the continent, a stark contrast to Hitler's Grand Alliance system, and a definite liability to the new regime in Germania. To the west, Germany's brothers in Holland have yet to rejoin the pact, leaving both the Vaterland and the Netherlands in a precarious position. For the new Führer and Foreign Minister Schmidt, re-entry of the Holland has become a diplomatic priority, and negotiations with Cornelis van Heelkerken and the rest of the Hague are being planned. Within Speer's cabinet, there's much uncertainty about the coming meeting, but on the outside, Germany's head of state is all smiles and waves for the people. The Dutch know where their blood belongs. We'll see what they say. There is Reinhard Heydrich has been found dead. And now in here we can finally, yes, send motherfuckers to help out. Well, not yet apparently. Do some propaganda efforts while we save up command power so we can reinforce a little bit. The conservative cause benefits from this, yes. Show the Amerikaner who's in charge. Does that mean that we get the sent motherfuckers in now? Not yet. Oh, there we go. The Germanic Brotherhood. Was he certain once? He was certain he wasn't now. Decades under the doctrine of any belief can push the faith of any man, especially the smart ones, and if anything, Speer certainly considered himself clever. It was precisely this intelligence which commanded Speer to appeal to the Dutch reactionaries through race in his negotiations. In a speech to a collection of statesmen in the political capital of the Netherlands, the Führer connected the philosophical genius of the Dutch Descartes and Voetius with the German Leibniz and Goethe. He connected the diplomatic centrality of The Hague with Bismarck's focus on alliance and peace. Both nations, Speer went on, shared a common history of honorable monarchies and fair republics, feudal states and global empires. Speer was certain about the Jews, but he wondered if Europe had another inferior subhuman infesting it. Even after all this time, the proud Aryans of Speer's homeland clung onto every word of Germanic superiority that emerged from their Führer's mouth. A million conservative ears, from Amsterdam to Danzig, fixated on his voice. Yes, let's go. That sounds like they're gonna join me. You know what? We're willing to pay the full subsidy. It's 20 million to the Dutch, and then they'll join. That sounds good. And now reinforce the war effort, which will let us send 2 dudes. In that case, I'll send my helicopters in. 4 helicopters I feel like should be enough. I can send also a bunch of air forces. I'll send my air forces in. Oh, 5 is the max in total. Actually, never mind. We can send some more in here. And an agreement has been reached with The Hague. Perfect. That's one of our former puppets back into the fold. Now let's deal with Slovakia next. And our troops have arrived as well. Very important. Where are they? Well, 2 are in here. There we go. The ultimatum from the north. They better accept us or else. And there's the other 2. Move on down, please. Friesland joins, and they join the Zollverein as well, becoming a protectorate or a collaborator puppet state of ours. Perfect. Since we own Bohemia Meren, let's try and core that as well. Okay, throughout the ranks of high command in Brno and Prague, within the protectorate of Bohemia Moravia, it would seem that our efforts to sway soldiers in the region have been successful. Even still, there remains the issue of the divided garrison and its heightened efforts to betray or protect Germany along the lower echelons. Okay, we have the mission to reconstruct Bohemia, which, you know, essentially is going to take 120 days. Fine. Doesn't sound too bad to me. Oh, perfect. Bratislava also agrees. They join the Zollverein and become my puppet. Next up, Denmark. At the end of the Broederkrieg, volunteers from all sides returned to their homes after risking lives in the defense of their ideals. Some, however, will be remembered more than others. Today, the entire Wehrmacht honors the final retirement of Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox, who led the Italo-German invasion of the British Africa. The old general, who had been living as a civilian for almost a decade, had rejoined the army in the Civil War, bringing with him his legendary ability with panzer tactics. While no longer a tank commander due to his old age, his keen insight in armor warfare, combined with his legendary reputation that followed him ever since the days of the Afrika Corps, inspired many to fight well beyond their own capabilities. Now, however, the tired fox has announced his second and final retirement. In the meantime, we are going to be approaching the Danes. The idea would be twofold. First, we would offer the Danish government a small helping hand upon entering the pact, so they could ease themselves in and be comfortable amid the rest of the Reich's allies. Second, we would hold a speech that would be televised to viewers home and abroad, where he would testify to the strength of the Reich and the solitary situation the Danish found themselves, which, if they accepted the help of their Aryan brothers below, is something that would easily be rectified. There's nothing outstanding about Denmark, he thought Once Speer had looked over the economic analysis of the country, nothing at all that really made it especially valuable besides being another source for manpower and labor to feed into the Reich. That wasn't a concern here, however. Ever since even if Speer considered the Danes to be easy candidates for Germanization, they were to become allies first and anything else would come afterwards. A short and direct economic plan was drafted up, which would give the Danes small temporary privileges upon entering the Reich. Alright. Put him in, chief. And just like that, the Danish also join up with the Einheitspact. Yep, there we go. Germany restores control over Central Europe. Pretty damn quickly, too. We are pretty stable right now, which I'm happy about. The Führer awaits with Field Marshal. The Secretary's force awakens von Trekschau from his thoughts, and he enters the adorned office. "Welcome, Field Marshal," comes Speer's voice, to which he immediately salutes. "I heard you have a proposal to improve the war effort. Please, by all means, enlighten me." "My Führer," he begins. Then his mouth goes dry, sweat caught in his face and dampening his uniform. Then, in a strangled voice, he explains, "We need to increase our troops' efficiency, and we need to do it quickly. For this reason, I advise sending stimulants to our troops." "Oh," was Speer's only reply. Clearly, he didn't expect the principal Prussian to come up with such a plan. "This goes against all you advocate, Feldmarschall. Are you sure this is the only way we can prevail?" A tense nod was his only answer, shame visible on the general's face. "Alright, let's send drugs. I think we will go for the offensive strategy. Even though it's more conservative leaning, and I want to be more balanced, let's go for another blitzkrieg then. I should have you shot, dog." The uncommon spark of fear within Speer's voice only prompted a smile from Schörner, who felt pain shoot through his back as he was slammed against the wall by two Orpo agents. Cold concrete running across the length of his thin coat. Speer, meanwhile, stood 2 meters away, carrying him with a loaded pistol, as well as a menacing glare in his gaze. "You are one of the worst traitors to the Reich, and by all accounts I should have you executed here and now," he continued, pulling the hammer of the gun as Schörner could see the round, smooth black of the barrel pointing down at him. The silence that came from Schörner empathized the small cough he gave afterwards, ringing insultingly throughout the bland and empty room, and he felt the sun flood his neck with the warmth as he craned his head up to look at Speer. "Well then, go on," he said, lips parting to reveal a small victorious smile. "Kill me, start another civil war. I am certain the militaries will accept whatever judgment you pass." The burning sarcasm tightened Speer's grip on the pistol, and a finger itched to slip into the trigger. Yet it didn't. "Perhaps you can even quarter and draw me. Then they would cheer, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they, Herr Speer?" Speer grimaced so hard he felt his teeth would shatter. In a moment of anger, a tired hand swung cold steel towards Schörner's head, slamming him and leaving a heavy bruise on the grinning man's face. "Release him," Speer ordered, and Schörner felt his limbs lighten. "And get the hell out of my sight. I don't want to look at you until things stabilize." "Gladly, my Führer," he spat. "Look at my dude go. He might not get supplied, but he sure as hell is gonna take all the VPs that we need." "Well, damn it, we are currently leaning strongly conservative. I don't want that." Launch the campaign to be more reformist. Let's also see what the Norwegians are up to, huh? We need to get them back into the fold as well. "You cannot stop my dude from coming in. Don't you know we have a helicopter division?" Also, we have unlocked the Norwegian focus. Oh, and even Ireland rejoins and as an observer. Didn't even realize, but the UK also joined back. So far, SPHEREMAXXING has been working very well for us. Oh, and we've won. We've actually won. Afrikaner Volksstaat survives. The Afrika's shield is still a thing. There are currently a bunch of slaves in here. What do we do with this? Oh, this can only be done once we solidified our reign, which is not yet the case. The Reichskanzlei was dark. The silent corridors and the empty offices were almost an eerie sight. Long shadows cast by the moonlight and pitch-black corners, but a single light dispelled the ominous atmosphere. Helmut Schmidt was still in his office, working on the latest diplomatic documents, when he realized he had long since passed the closing hour. He was very tired and perhaps just a bit tipsy from the liquor he drank to keep himself awake. With a yawn, he turned off the light and looked from the window at the sleeping Germania. How different it was from Hamburg, so big, so strange. Still thinking about his home, he made to leave the office, but perhaps by chance he looked at the mirror near the room's entrance and wished he had never done it. His figure was dark, but a single moon ray illuminated the very thing he didn't want to see. The red band with the swastika, symbol of all members of the NSDAP, including him. Disgust crept his feet at the cursed thing and at himself for wearing it every single day. He immediately went to remove it as if it burned, but stopped when he heard a voice. "Why are you trying to remove it?" his own reflection told him. Sneering in the dark, "You can't lie to yourself. You like it. Admit it." After a moment of complete befuddlement, he replied, anger flowing from his voice, "I don't. I'm doing it for everyone, to build a better tomorrow. No. Liar." The shadows replied as they took shape behind him. A severe visage, so similar to him. "Father? Look what you've done, Helmut," Gustav Ludwig Schmidt said, disappointment heavy in his aged features. "You live among them, smile at them, shake their hands. You betrayed us. You are no son of mine." "I'm doing it for a liar." "Liar," laughed in a reflection. "I'm doing it for everyone. I'm doing it for everyone." Just a mantra he keeps repeating to himself. And that's dark. We're back to being strongly conservative. Are you kidding me? Or the campaign is still in progress, so it doesn't count. It's taken up though. Get more stability and keep paying for Norway. As you might see, the world looks a little bit different. Well, the date's a little bit different probably. The amount of troops I have is a little bit different. That's because yesterday TNO got updated. So I had to restart the whole campaign. I got more or less to where I am currently. I'm in the process of integrating the Norwegians. For you guys, it probably isn't that much different. And that's okay. I did see that the war in West Africa has popped off. I don't know if I can get involved. I don't think I can, at least not yet. Yeah, and here we don't have... we can't intervene. It's going to happen on its own, sadly. I did also get down to neutral, which I'm happy about. I gotta stay neutral as I can be, at least. Oh, there we go. Finally, the Norwegians will also join us. Another day, another cartload of problems. In his office at the center of the Reichskanzlei, Albert Speer, Führer of the German people, is tired and stressed. Even after the war's end, there's no rest. The reconstruction is proving more difficult than predicted, and the party bureaucracy is already starting to resist the changes suggested by the Gang of Four. Like the proverbial clay pot, Speer feels powerful to act, a small raft engulfed by the stormy sea, taken by the sudden need to escape. Looking outside, a wave of memories surges from Speer's mind, snippets of life that was a mere decade ago, yet feels as if it was another geological era. Showing Hitler the process made as the two friends laugh heartily, visiting construction sites, directing workforce, and finally the Volkshalle inauguration, the crowning moment of his life as an architect. It was a different age, one where the future looked glorious, not this maddening quagmire. The more he looks at what he built, however, the more a feeling of dread creeps over him. Why is that building over there still unfinished? Why is that apartment block so bare? The slots for the decorations are all empty. More than anything, who is that incompetent who used low-quality stone for the walkways that are already full of cracks? As he finds more and more critiques, he also feels something else, a need he had not felt in years. He wants to correct those mistakes, to make them right, but even more, he wants something new. His hands itch with the need to design, to give tangible form to the things in his mind. Alright. Oh, and it seems that Britain stays with us. They did it in the last video, I think. But now finally that war is also over. And we as well have finished with the Norwegians. Now let's go with the Polish. Okay. There's the next focus tree. The international community will observe how we deal with this matter. Our goodwill is at balance. Okay. With this work completed, the Führer can finally punch out and let the architect take his place. Speer clears his desk and takes his tools out of the case he had brought from his home. They are old, but they still work, just like him. And that's more than enough. He had awaited this moment for the entire day, and as he looks at the large, empty sheet, he feels like a painter staring at a blank canvas, ready to fill it with his art. All kinds of ideas swim through his mind, from tall, bold skyscrapers to simple houses and small villas. With a trembling hand, he takes up a ruler and pencil and draws for the first time. The first sheet goes straight into the dustbin, followed by the second and the third. Trembling lines and small blunders irk the perfectionist inside Speer. but more than 5 years of inaction require some time to catch up. The fourth sheet, however, surprises the initial scrutiny. In the end, he settled on a public office, the classic of his old practice. As the jumbling mess of lines, seemingly drawn randomly, acquires purpose and forms itself into the skeleton of a building, a smile creeps itself on Speer's lips. He is finally free from a stress, from the obligations, from the quagmire, doing what he loves. After a while, the architect stretches his arms and looks at his work. The essential flame, the easiest part, is done. Now it's time to start the real work. He looks at his watch and jumps. It's nearly past midnight. Best going to sleep, or tomorrow's work will be a pain. As he goes home, however, he can't help but wonder, will his newest design ever become reality, or will it remain a small closet dream, one to be put in a museum after his death? Oh, it's over, the Afrikaner Volksstadt. Does this matter? My craft is as perfect as is. Let us forget the past for the sake of art. Do we approach aggressively or through diplomacy? Let's try diplomacy first. Looking one final time at the city he had designed from top to bottom, Speer finally realized one thing. His ideals, his beliefs, his convictions are still there. They aren't gone, but he can see with his eyes how the first attempt at their implementation was gone. Just like Germania, the Reich is a rotten corpse, and it will take a shock therapy to bring it back to life. One day, Germany will be once more at the forefront. No, it will be at the top, but only after sweeping changes have been made. How can one small architect like himself change the tide with pencil and a ruler? Slowly, his design started to reflect his state of mind. The facade is clean, sharply cut, large glass windows who framed the black steel architraves. Everything in stark contrast to the stone walls and colonnades of his own Reichskanzlei. As his building takes a shape so different from everything he has ever done, he feels a slight insecurity, like a child leaving his mother's embrace to swim on its own for the first time. As one evening turns into night, the architect finishes his work. The last look to his old creation outside the window and to his newest addition on his desk, Speer understands with painful clarity that he can no longer return to his old art. So much has changed in so little time. So much to learn, so much that he has forgotten. In his sadness, however, there's a seedling of a new relief. He's not done yet. There's one last thing he needs to do before putting his tools to rest. The future is now, I guess. So, Herr Schmidt, I've read about your plan. Speer looked up from his desk, his eyes meeting the foreign minister. I'd like you to explain to me a little more, because frankly, I don't understand why we need to go through so much effort over a place like Poland. Schmidt straightened his tie. It's less about Poland itself and more about the international effects, my Führer. Speer leaned back in his chair. Elaborate. Well, we could enforce our will through force of arms on the Poles, as we did in the 30s, but the main issue is that internationally this would threaten our image as a reformist, gentler Reich. The issue with your plan, Herr Schmidt, is that it's going to force us into promises we might not want to keep. I understand my plan is not perfect, but it's the only way to keep our image safe. Besides, negotiation means no bloodshed, and neither of us want that, do we? No, of course not. I give you permission to go ahead. Don't screw this up for me, will you? Speer shuffled in his chair. Schmidt nodded before leaving the room. Let's see how it goes. I'm very curious. Diplomatically getting Poland. Now that's a new one. Okay, we sent out the telegram to Warsaw. Hopefully they pick up. Oh, they've agreed. The reformist cause benefits. But we do lose a little bit of stability. I mean, we do have a lot of stability, so it shouldn't be a problem. Status of Polish slavery. I guess they will be slaves no more. The Polish will strongly approve of this. Our poverty rate will increase. Our poverty rate will rapidly improve. Yeah, you know what? I'll do this one. Dismantlement shall suffice. Now, Mr. Wacławiak, on to the next topic, the Home Army. As previously agreed, the Home Army will disarm and disband, assuming these talks go through. That is correct, right? Of course. Wacławiak straightened his tie as he spoke. Schmidt rolled his eyes as he reached the next point, bracing himself for the explosion. Yes, of course. However, there have been calls from our more conservative counterparts to prosecute some of these men for treason and terrorism. Now, Mr. Wacławiak, these men did commit acts of violence against the German garrison. Wacławiak shot to his feet. You're joking, Herr Schmidt. You can't be serious. You dare call fighting for freedom terrorism? Do you know how hard it's been to get the Home Army to even agree to disarm? They'll go ballistic. If you're going to arrest every freedom fighter in Poland, you may as well arrest the entire delegation. Because I cannot think of a Polish man who did not fight the Germans. This is unacceptable, Herr Schmidt. Simply unacceptable. You know what? Yeah. Disarmament shall suffice. There's another slightly reformist focus. Because while our economic policy is balanced, our social outlook is a little bit too conservative. I'd like it to be more around zero. Now, who do we pin the blame on? The Poles deserve right. You know what? Yeah, they deserve right. We need to get more in towards the neutral side of things. I'll look for the budget. In for a penny, in for a pound. It does improve our poverty rate. So I do want that. Oh, there we go. The social outlook is progressing again. Good. Let's build more schools as well, eh? Kind of lacking, it seems. Oh no, damn it, the anti-Huttig cabal. Today, the Reichsminister for the colonies has received a heavily encrypted message from one of the former colonial administrators in Central Africa, who managed to escape the newly proclaimed Reichsstaat. Despite our demands for answers, he has given us a little information apart from the message itself, and then disappeared, saying he didn't want to see anything like what he had seen in the days of the coup. After decoding the cipher, we understood why the man was so secretive, and the message so potentially dangerous to bear. Claiming to represent a small clique of officers and bureaucrats who still serve the true German government even while trapped within Huttig's hellish realm, Kai-Uwe von Hassel, self-appointed leader of the anti-Huttig cabal, asked for funds and reinforcements to prepare the grounds for a counter-coup, promising to re-establish a German rule in the African colonies. Huttig doesn't know what expects him. Alright. Africa's shield is broken. Let's start paying this. Fund them. Arm friendly rebels. Let's give them money to the Polish. Sure. It's not that much for us anyway. We're not here to have a stable economy. We're here to build our Einheitspact massively. Speer walked into his office. Atop the mound of paperwork to be completed was a file entitled Groß-Afrikanischer Reichsstaat. What the? The more Speer read through the file, the more appalled he got. Apparently Hans Huttig, the leader of Reichskommissariat Ostafrika, has launched a coup against his fellow Africa Shield members. The treacherous thug intends to create a large unified Reichskommissariat out of Reich's colonies to enforce his view of how the colonies should be run. Reports of mass murder and rape filled every corner of the pages, along the grisly photographs to accompany them. This isn't our colony anymore. And let's show the crimes of Göring, Bormann, and Heydrich in the meantime. How's this looking? Oh, we're reformists? That's not good. The treaty is signed. Tensions with both Japan and America decrease. And the reformists gain... Oh, we are strongly reformist now. That's not good. Anyway, next up, deal with the model colony in the Ostland. Uh-oh. Now we have to go to war? Not already, man. And I've been trying to make, as you can see, helicopter divisions. It's going to take us a while before they're finished. Like, they barely have their correct equipment. But I guess we don't really have much of a choice. We'll have to use these half-assed divisions that are not even close to being finished. Put our airplanes in preparation of the war. Off we go. To war. Tell our troops to be aggressive about it as well. Please and thank you. Just moving hard. Be hard and fight hard, as they say. So this war should give us more conservative power. Though their followers have been killed, imprisoned, or brought to heel, the legacies of Bormann, Göring, and Heydrich remain, knives in the Germany's back. In time, as their supporters are converted or weeded out, these painful memories will fade. But perhaps that's not enough. All of these claimants to the Führership commanded immense respect and popularity among the populace. Exposing their dealings and crimes through state media and public testimony would be a wise move, but attempting to discredit them all at once would arouse suspicion. Bormann's conservatism, ruthlessness, and devotion to Nazism represented the total anathema of what Speer supporters stand for. He spent so much time of the past 3 decades spreading his poison, infecting most of the NSDAP. Rooting out this rot from the party would go a long way towards decreasing internal resistance. Bormann was always careful to operate within the bounds of the law, but still inspired fear and hatred in many of his subordinates. Now that he is gone, they might be more willing to testify against his memory. I think the conservative cause benefits from this. That's what we want to go for. The SS might be widely loathed, Heydrich himself managed to retain a positive image following the West Russian War due to Hitler's high opinion of him, his reputation for decisiveness, and his Spartan discipline. Obviously, admiration for him might quickly turn into admiration for Himmler, and we cannot afford to have Burgundian fifth columnists active in Germany. Start with Heydrich. Oh, look at that. Poland is also has been added to our fold. We've almost reclaimed everything for our faction. Theodor Oberlander sat in a chair, facing the most powerful man in Europe. Albert Speer sat at a desk, facing a legislator who irritated him to his core. Neither man particularly liked his company. My Führer, Oberlander began boldly yet deferentially. Surely you are not truly considering repealing the Nuremberg Laws. The party would riot, and so would the corporations. Such a drastic action so quickly after the war seems to me somewhat unwise. Speer eyed the president of the Reichstag. What was he getting at? Herr Oberlander, I'm sure you know where my support base is drawn from. The Nuremberg system of racial discrimination has done nothing but weaken the Reich. For years, Oberlander has been just as harshly critical of the Nuremberg laws as the reformers, but he fully succumbed to the party line just to spite Speer. My Führer, you misunderstand. I do not propose that we continue the policy, only the laws behind it. Oberlander withdrew a folder, which he slid across the table to Speer. Enclosed, my Führer, you will find several reports from myself on the average of the Eastern European population. At the time of the Nuremberg Laws, they were widely considered Slavic, inferior people. However, the research has shown that a higher proportion than previously known is in fact of Nordic stock, and as such, of proper Aryan genealogy. Speer nodded, suddenly understanding the president's suggestion. If this report were to come to light, the Nuremberg Law may need to be taken under a period of review. During that period, of course, the persecution of Untermenschen will need to be temporarily halted to ensure no Aryan are unwittingly harmed. Speer eyed the president of the Reichstag. Perhaps Oberlander was more crafty than Speer had given him credit for. We must certainly watch for him. Go to Revolt, please. Finish it up. And make a new front line for you guys, please. Yep. Push in harder. I think Oslan's almost done. Currently, we're still reformists, right? I think we will suspend the persecution. We'll be a bit more conservative at the moment, because we are still a bit too reformative. Hold speech, though, and increase our increase our stability. Because goddammit, it's bad. There we go. We finally finished Ostland. Alright, now that we've dealt with Ostland, I think it's time for us to go for the next one, which is gonna be, well, the Ukrainians. I don't think they will be joining us, right? Oh, 20 days we'll declare war on. Yeah, we're not even gonna humor them with negotiations. Sure, why not? Alright, let's review the Nuremberg laws. We need to alter them somehow. Sondergericht. This should allow us to get rid of some of our political enemies as well, right? Charge reactionaries with treason. Theodor Oberlander walked into his office to find that it had been ripped apart. His pillows had been tossed aside and torn apart, as if someone expected them to contain some secrets. His drawers had been left half open, and there were papers scattered all over the room, and yet there was not a person around to answer for it. His first thought was that someone had broken into his office, stolen something of importance or value, but who would be bold enough to rob the president of the Reichstag? He did not have to think long about the answer. Oberlander sprinted down the hall from the ransacked office. For all he knew, they were already looking for him. The building was emptier and quieter than Oberlander had ever remembered it being. The only sound present were his shoes against the floor. He rounded a corner, seeing that the door was to what was once Heydrich's office had been left ajar. A folder had been left open on Heydrich's desk, neatly stenciled on the front. He knew where the words Theodor Oberlander. Oberlander ticked through the files until he reached the end. On the final page were the words he himself had added on the day of Hitler's death, completely cleared of all suspicions regarding disloyalty to the Reich. To anyone else's eyes, it would have looked as if it was a memo Heydrich had written years ago. Any papers proving otherwise had been rendered to ash and were now sitting in Oberlander's home wastebasket. A sense of lateness and total relief filled Oberlander. They had found nothing. Speer had found nothing for which the president of the Reichstag could be blamed, no matter how exhaustive his search had been. As Oberlander stood to leave, he heard the unmistakable sound of gunfire from outside the window. He had not been the only one. Speer will pay for this. Helldorf becomes Reichskommissar. Okay. That should mean we can annex them, right? Off we go. I mean, might as well call everyone in. Make the crush into Ukraine a little bit easier. Erhard's plan must be started as early as possible to have... Okay, during our economic reforms, we will inevitably have to compromise. These are not mutually exclusive, right? So I will go for Erhard first then. We still haven't completed our regimes, sadly. Sondergericht in Germany. In a bid to cleanse the NSDAP of disloyal members, Albert Speer, Führer of the German Reich, has begun the Sondergericht, a special trial which saw several members of the party accused of variegated lists of crimes, from abuse of power to accepting bribes and even treason. Alright. Okay, good. This came back. I don't want to implicate, I want to strengthen the cabal. Ukraine is also almost dead, so that's nice. We got Kiev. Don't think it'll be long before they fall apart. Trümmer's Truppen. Anything to improve our poverty rate. What's it at? It's still increasing pretty damn hard. Mostly because of negative economic growth. What's this? You want to change our price controls? Speer raised a skeptical eyebrow as he glanced at Erhard over the top of his proposal sheet. Erhard shook his head and plucked a fat cigar between his lips. No, my Führer, read it again. I don't want to change them. I want to abolish them. Price controls have never prevented inflation, and the black market has been sucking the life out of our commercial sector for over 10 years. We aren't going to dig ourselves out of this hole if we keep projecting sensible free market principles on, well, principle. Reset the Reichsmark. Are you telling me we should withdraw from circulation, all of it, then issue new notes and coins? First batch is ready for distribution already, and the banks in Eastern Prussia and Rhineland are prepared to start accepting the old currency. It will, let me finish, my Führer, give our citizens the purchasing power they lacked ever since the crash in the 50s, once the OFN embargo ends. What do you mean you are planning to end the embargo, aren't you? Haven't you already spoken to Schmidt about this? Yes, but not good. The sooner imports start up again, the sooner we'll see quality of life begin to increase. I assure you, my Führer, that you will see progress not a day after the embargo is lifted. How close Reichswirtschaftsminister Erhard is allowed to work to his original plans ultimately affects how effective they are. Now there's the Zollverein. Okay. Show. Let's do all of these decisions. It's only 50 million, but it'll help us improve tremendously. Okay, so far we are balanced, right? Let's start with one liberal decision. Then we'll find maybe a conservative one to take. Was that it for Ukraine? I think that's it for Ukraine. There we go. We got them back. In the heart of Russia. Yes, please. Rejoin us. Thank you, Militarbezirk Russland. But what about the Reichskommissariat Caucasian? New focuses. This will give us another liberal one, so that means we'll go for a conservative one afterwards. Although that will worsen. Well, slowly worsen, so that's actually fine. We'll do inflation control. That's with the Caucasian as well. Surely there was something we can do to stop this Oberlander. An indignant Schörner pressed the president of the Reichstag, who was becoming rather dissatisfied with the conversation. You have the party's ear, the Reich's ear. If you call this injustice what it is, an injustice, then they will listen to you. He slammed his fist against the table, clearly in an expression of outrage. They will be forced to listen to you if they do not want the Reich's populace in arms. If you think that this is in any way my business, you are wrong, Herr Schörner. Oberlander carefully ran his hand over the part of his table that Schörner had hit, trying to be sure that he had not left a mark on it. The table had been a gift from his mother, and he did not want it ruined by a late-night visit from this ranting madman. What sort of outrage would I invoke, informing the people that a military official has received a new assignment? And what would the outrage of the people of the Reichstag accomplish against the Führer directives? Schöner regarded the doctor with a look of this undisguised disgust, flavored with the desperation of a starving man begging for scraps. Oberlander, do you not see what Speer is doing? He is ridding himself of every competent and pure-minded member of the administration. He seeks to bastardize National Socialism, to bring out some Judeo-liberal fantasy. You and I, we are the only ones who still command enough sway to stop him before he ruins everything. We cannot let him do this. And yet Oberlander considered Schörner for a second. It seemed like madness, the bitter rabblings of a disgruntled general, and yet some of what he spoke rang true. Perhaps now was the time to make a stand, to make a move against Speer. Then Oberländer noticed his wife peer into the room, wondering why Theodor had not yet returned to bed. Meeting her eyes, the president of the Reichstag rose. Herr Schörner, I believe you have a train to catch. The Reich will not collapse without you. Let's go and deal with the Reichskommissariat. They'll be brought into the fold fairly quickly, I think. The exile. He cracked his gloved knuckles with a grunt, glaring out over the snowy plains as the setting sun burned the sky with its orange hue. War was coming. He could sense it. Those Slavic scum across the border of Militärbezirk Russland were unifying, preparing themselves for an invasion of Germany and the destruction of the Aryan race. Until that time came, the Field Marshal would have to contend with the grimy Russian partisans in the cities and the wilderness. That is why he was here after all. Feldmarschall Ferdinand Schörner and his brave allies were conveniently carted off to a snowy shithole by the blessings of the magnanimous Führer, where they would serve the Reich by protecting the Eastern Front from whatever insane faction managed to unite Russia. Schörner plucked the cigarette out of his mouth and spat onto the snow. He didn't know whether to be furious or flattered at being granted such an exile. I mean, we are essentially sending him to Moscow. Out of sight, out of mind. Let's keep helping our newly reacquired boy. Oh, Southwest Indian Ocean. This one right here. We need 20 boats. Collect these two together. Oh, we cannot go from here. Oh, actually, no, we can. We're moving our ships. Shouldn't be a problem. To reinforce Mauritius and the Réunion. We're close to being... I'm guessing after we finish this entire focus, we'll be able to start dismantling the mega corporations that have a grip over our economy. We'll press one button to do a conservative shift, because we have 3 points into liberalism. That can be pretty dangerous. Well, they're almost there. German hegemony returns once more. Perfect. Reinforce Mauritius and Réunion, please. Thank you. Oh, can dispatch the rescue mission. I kind of forgot about this. For our tiny little Antarctic base. Oh, now we can establish a... So, you know what? A scientific administration. Why not? Oh, looks like France lost in Africa. But that's okay, because we do have France already under our control. Because if they won if Free France won in here, they could have launched an invasion on the French state, and then we could have intervened, as far as I understand. Also, direct control of all resources in Caucasia. Oh, that's great. We do need oil. Now that we're done with the Einheitspact, we can go and continue with the economy. I do think I need to do price deregulations. As much as it pains me. Because it's not erratic, and I can just keep shifting towards conservatism every once in a while. Our GDP growth rate will increase by almost 1%. We're still in the negatives. The conservative cause will benefit from this. Again, erratic economic policy. Don't want to take this one. I want to go for the liberal one, as much as it pains me. So I need to keep going and pivoting towards conservatism with those decisions. Charge reactionaries with treason. Irkutsk has unified the Far Eastern Socialist Republic. Good for them. We have regained our place in the world with the Einheitspact. We're still waiting for Hüttich to fall apart. But in the meantime, we need to fix up our economy. And more importantly, balance our economic policy a little bit more. Schmidt, good to finally meet you. Somewhere more appropriate. The Chancellery meeting rooms aren't nearly secure enough, aren't they? Schmidt nodded and smiled nervously at the implication. Certainly, there were more than a few men in the party who would happily burst into in waving a pistol if they knew the extent of what the Gang of Four was planning. Still, he said nothing, prompting Speer to clear his throat and lean forwards, looking distinctively businessmanlike. Now, Schmidt, I understand you have an outline for dealing with our present diplomatic situation. I'm sure you're aware that we are already seeing some positive development on that front, but Erhard believes that we need something concrete to show our good intention to the world. Yes, my Führer. Sort of a whirlwind tour, as the Americans say, straight to every capital that matters right now. Washington, Rome, Ankara, Tokyo, and so on. I take this myself, of course, since I'm an unknown quantity and can make a fresh impression on our old friends. The pact can wait, and obviously China, India, and so on aren't priorities right now. Is this agreeable, my Führer? Speer nodded and smiled. Genuine this time. Excellent work, Schmidt. We're of two minds, clearly. The Führer rose from his seat, the sign that his foreign minister had the stamp of approval, and was dismissed. Let me know when you're planning to depart. Make sure you keep myself and the cabinet up to date on your progress. It's time for a diplomatic makeover. We're gonna be good boys now. We can put some extra stuff into our civilians. Interestingly enough, it gives us less factories overall, but it gives more production efficiency and growth normally. Oh, there we go. History was made today. As the President of the United States of America welcomed a German dignitary to the White House, our Foreign Minister Helmut Schmidt was not received warmly as a representative of an OFN nation might have been, but the fact that there was no passive hostility on the President's part is surely a good sign. Schmidt was all smiles, no doubt a strange sight to many Americans after decades of hostile relations between our two countries. The real coup Schmidt scored during this visit was an address to the Senate. Initial fears on our part were quickly allayed when a recording was delivered to Germany for broadcast on state television. He began with, "Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your most cordial reception and kind words of greetings." A standard diplomatic opening, but Schmidt's warmth of voice and character made clear his sincerity. He went on to say, "This is my first expedition as a foreign minister of the Greater German Reich, and I must express my admiration for the authority and dignity that this great nation displays in every action and every hour of its existence." Schmidt's schedule did not permit a tour of major cities, as he initially requested before setting out, but the Führer was doubtful such a request would be granted by the Americans anyway, considering we nuked them only 20 years ago. Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing. Whoops. No, we're gonna be visiting the European people, Italy mostly, Turkey, the Spanish, and maybe our own allies, who knows. Oh wait, we're not making tactical bombers and strategic bombers. What are we making then? Gas, transport, interceptors. I guess we can make tactical bombers and strategic bombers, sure. Helmut Schmidt's diplomatic adventure continues, with the visits to Rome, Ankara, Madrid, Stockholm, and Helsinki. The Reich's image has suffered immensely in Europe, not merely because of the war, but also due to the economic crash that killed much of the continent's economy and plunged our trading partners into depression. The ready visibility of the Bürgerkrieg and the less admirable aspects of Hitler's reign have made us a pariah, despite being the unquestioned ruler of Northern and Eastern Europe. Schmidt could never hope to repair our image in a single trip, but the first steps towards a long-needed thaw in relations have finally been taken, something Hitler would never have deigned to attempt. No doubt many of our neighbors question whether this moves towards openness and cordiality is genuine. Such a lack of trust is unfortunate but more than understandable, as our Führer put it to the Reichstag. Still, the importance of the diplomatic defensive operation cannot be understated. We've been isolated for decades, feared and loathed as an evil empire of the North, like something out of a fantasy novel. They will learn in time. We are a benevolent god. Shift their economy once more to conservatism. Might as well press all of these ones. Why not? I think I want to go for the enemy of my enemy instead of focusing on Japan. Mostly because I hope that India will collapse and we can prop up a Pakistani government. Maybe even get all of India into the Einheitspact. I don't know if that's possible. The Japanese have never disguised their distrust and even outright loathing for us in the past 2 decades. Our alliance in the Tripartite Pact was born of little more than convenience and deterrence against the United States, which became moot once the Japanese declared war on them and Hitler dragged us into it. As a rival fascist power, the Japanese naturally see us as a threat and a challenge to their rule. Never mind the fact that our spheres of influence barely overlap at all. Our recent friendly overtures towards their archenemy may actually have made this enmity even worse. Still, Schmidt had a job, and performed it admirably given the circumstances. Welcomed to the Diet by the Prime Minister, though snubbed by the Emperor, he made an impassioned speech calling for an end to senseless rivalry and for the Japanese to recognize our goodwill and peaceful intentions towards the Empire of Japan. He was met with polite, if somewhat muted applause. To be expected, of course, but at least he wasn't given the silent treatment. The Führer remained skeptical that relations with Japan will ever be normalized, This was a necessary step to take in our journey towards a positive image on the world stage. If we cannot be seen as willing to reconcile with even our most vicious rival, we will never be trusted as a global actor. Alright. Tensions lowered everywhere. Let's go for we are not alone. I want to hold off on my economic focus until I can switch over to more conservative aspects a little bit more. I really want it to be balanced as hell, like completely balanced. Pan-African movement, okay. Oh, and the Horn of Africa collapsed. I do hope Italy gets to control that again. The United States, Speer finally said, opening his eyes and setting his hands down on his desk. You're right on this count, Schmidt. We need their economic clout on our side. Schmidt breathed a sigh of relief and nodded. Thank you, my Führer. I promise you this is the right path. They're normal. Speer chewed his lip, looking a little skeptical. True, but they won't stop trying to subvert our interests. Don't forget that we've been on hostile terms for decades now, and that history won't go away just because you enjoyed some applause while you were over there. I know, my Führer, Schmidt replied, with a slightly offended edge to his voice. But they also operate in a manner we're more familiar with, and our two societies are more alike than they are different. The Japanese, though, they're trying to build a normal relation with them, even if not totally futile, might just make them more confident in their own broken system. Can you imagine if we got dragged into another war because of them? If you ask me, we should keep them at arm's length, my Führer. Yes, I understand, but still, the Japanese still match the Americans in their military might. Isn't there some value in that deterrent? Deterrent? My Führer, forgive my frankness, but we already have a deterrent. It's called our nuclear arsenal. Conventional armies don't have the clout that they used to. Trust me, Erhard is right. The economic benefits of trade with the United States will far outweigh anything the Japanese can offer. And we can't be seen to associate with the Japanese if they turn towards aggression again. I've already made the decision, Schmidt. Don't fret. Tell your men at the Foreign Office to get to work and contact Erhard too. We still have a long way before we can start seeing forts on the Autobahn. Two eagles shall fly together. How cute. We're getting so much regime stability. It's insane. Yeah, we're at 100% stability, in fact. Reinhard Gehlen was not an impressive man to behold. Thin-faced with prominent ears, he was the sort of fellow one would expect to hold tremendously successful record as former head of Foreign Armies East, a military intelligence unit active during the war against the Soviets. Nor could he be counted as a particularly dedicated ideologue. What he was, however, was a loyal, ruthless, and utterly dedicated to his nation, having continued his own intelligence operations against the Bolsheviks even after their defeat. In Speer's estimations, he was not only brilliant, but also a true German patriot, which was why he had been invited to the lofty halls of power to discuss a certain proposal of his. Speer relaxed a little, sensing nothing but respectful deference from the neatly dressed man with his quaint bowler hat. So, Herr Gehlen, I understand that on top of all this information you've brought me, you have an idea of how to deal with the matter of internal security. Please, speak your mind. Gehlen hesitated for a moment before visibly relaxing and leaning onto the desk. My Führer, it's no secret in intelligence circles that you are seeking to rein in the Gestapo and Abwehr. If I may be so bold, they are indeed in poor shape. They could neither prevent the civil war nor rein in the dissident factions within the Reich. Go on. After the war, the Americans changed tack. Their wartime organization, the OSS, became the foundation of the CIA. They learned from their mistakes, adjusted accordingly, and now they're drastically outpacing us in the field of intelligence. The same goes for the Japanese as well as for every second-rate power in the world. We need something else, a new intelligence agency for the modern era. Interesting idea. Do you have anything more concrete for me? Gehlen nodded. He hauled his briefcase up onto the desk and clicked it open, producing an ever-stuffed manila envelope with Reich's Nachrichtendienst scrawled on the front. I do indeed, my Führer. Would you like to know more? Dude's been planning to make his own agency. And now he's doing the elevator pitch, I guess. Damn it, why is it not showing up? I want another... Oh. No, those are not the decisions I was looking for. I want another conservative decision. There we go, I think. Shift the economy towards conservatism. I need them once more. to be perfectly balanced. Uh-oh, Emile Maurice is in American captivity. Decisions in the Africa tab of the intelligence menu have been unlocked. If we act soon enough, we may preempt American actions on his captivity. Well, good thing I'm trying to research that, huh? In 14 days, we'll have our agency. There it is. Intelligence. Oh, there it is. The operation to kill Emile Maurice. Let's start it. We have a 2 and 3 chance. It's not bad. Let's also maybe do some research as well while we're at it. Okay, we will become liberal, right? In the hope that we get maybe another pivot towards conservatism in here. Theodor Oberlander did not know Reinhard Gehlen well on a personal level, but he knew of him. The man had been well known to have spies under every corner during the Second World War, and Oberlander guessed by his appointment to the head of the Reich's new intelligence agency, he had not curbed his activities in that field. He would serve as Speer's dagger in the dark, where the Gestapo had previously served as the NSDAP's club in the night. Oberlander was not stupid enough to know what it meant. Now, a small metal dot had found its way to the bottom of Oberlander's desk. As he had been informed earlier this morning, Speer had failed to remove Oberlander during the purges, and now it seemed he was on Gehlen's list of people to watch closely. This attempt to have Oberlander killed was more subtle than the last one, but this time Speer had failed to catch him unawares, and Oberlander expected he would continue to fail in later attempts. One side effect of working in the Reich's intelligence programs was that one tended to trust their teams with their life. It was odd, given how much the profession was built upon lying and mistrust. But if you could not act swiftly and unflinchingly based on the information of other agents, you were not the correct profession. That level of trust, tested again and again, tended to build some sort of bond, even if the Reich tried their hardest to ensure friendships did not form. These bonds, it seemed, were strong enough for Oberlander's old compatriots from the Abwehr to enlighten him of the RND's new plans for him. With a grimace, Oberlander pried loose the listening device, letting it fall to the ground as the heel of his well-polished shoe grinded the bug to dust. Another attempt failed. Well, we'll get him. We'll get him next time. Oh, we're at 7? Ooh, that's not good. I did not think it would be 3 points. Let's go for the new Reichsmark. I hope I can stabilize it. And this doesn't just disappear. A close shave. Now he's in Central America. God damn it. Theodor Oberlander gritted his teeth, approaching the podium after Speer's man Erhard has given his due. It had been short, to the point, and wildly disrespectful, just like the man himself. Nevertheless, it had been as radical as one would expect. It was baffling that Speer had chosen such a toad to lead his economic policy, but he had, again, never been practical. Oberlander allowed the scant applause to dissipate before addressing the assembly. "Thank you, Herr Erhard." He spoke curtly and nodded to the economist, who did not look very happy to be thanked. "I think we all need to recognize the value of what is being said. I am far from claiming the economy is perfect. However, I am quite worried about the scale on which Herr Erhard describes these changes. This revolution of the German economy that he suggests is, I must say, rather radical and very, very foolhardy. Herr Erhard, of course, has made great use of his PhD in economics. He is the Reichsminister of Finance, after all," Oberlander conceded. "But a PhD is something that helps primarily in classrooms and hypotheticals. The sort of plan that he suggests would work wonders in a bubble where there's only economics to consider. My own doctorate in finance, however, shows that I am well experienced in the realities of putting such things into practice. Unlike Herr Erhard, and my doctorate in agriculture, meanwhile, shows that I can tell you how Herr Erhard would rob good German farmers of the chance to make a living. This is not a man in this building who does not remember the collapse of the 50s, how it brought our enemies to our doorsteps, and how it revealed the treachery of those we had once considered friends. Does Herr Erhard mean to bring the German economy to such a place of instability that it collapses again? When we consider the extent of Herr Erhard's plan today, we must think of one feature of any revolution. A revolution turns order on its head." Alright, that's not good for us, huh? Okay, we still get the liberal economic policy thingy in here, right? Yes. We still have a chance. And what's our current stance as well? We are neutral. Leaning on conservative, so I think we should definitely go for all eyes on us benefiting the reformists, keeping us stable. And there we go. I think we killed him, right? No, we didn't. Maurice turned and kept walking. I wonder, as I often did in those days, how history might regard me outwardly, and to the rest of the world's estimation, I would have no choice but to remember as the great liberal Führer. For weeks after the Civil War, I could look out of the window of my office in the Reich's chancellery and see the crowds of well-wishers packing the plaza below. From my lofty perch, they appeared a great seething mass of the busiest days. Individuals melted away, assimilating into a great din of humanity. Unable to pick out at their faces, I was aware of in those moments that this was people power made manifest. At the same tide that had swept my predecessors into power and changed the fate of Germany forevermore. It was impressive, mighty, and utterly terrifying. They chanted my name, saluted my presence, and demanded of me things I could never be certain of delivering in those troubled days. To admit to the complexity of the situation, even in writing, is difficult, but I must preserve my words for posterity, so that future generations will understand my choice. Perhaps it will be centuries before these words are seen, but no secret of this magnitude can be concealed forever. Oh, Emile Maurice, please to Mexico. Can we find him there then? I don't believe that to be possible. Oh, they're down to 85. That's not good. Increase it by 10%. Maybe 5 more. I'll just press this one. That's fine. The anti-Houthi cabal should be popping off soon, right? There you go. Indian Unification War ignites. But can we? I don't believe we can intervene just yet. Not until Pakistan breaks off as well. Let's combine all of these dudes, eh? There we go. We got 4 fully equipped helicopter divisions for when Pakistan breaks off. Look at that. Our poverty is actually improving finally. Shift again to conservatism. Ah, we're so close. I kind of want to wait. We're taking a focus. I will wait with taking this focus until I can take it again. Oh, we are reformist currently. Well, we are leaning reformist at the moment. Improving our outlook. That's not going to last forever. Democracy has returned to Italy. That's perfect. That means we can influence them into joining us. And we got a lot of political power ready to spend on them. Friedrich was abruptly wrenched free from the gentle embrace of slumber and hurled into the wakefulness by chatter of conversation and the garbled tail end of an intercom announcement. Swearing quietly, he hauled his heavy hat off with his pillow and sat up in his cot, desperately rubbing sleep out of his eyes. Attempting in vain to clear his head enough to tell what was going on, he gave a cursory glance towards the rest of the barracks, where his squad mates seemed to be getting ready to head out. The major stood awaiting them on the docks, a stern expression locked on his face, while he tapped a nervous foot. Once men were all in order, he began to speak. "Gentlemen, you must have noticed our numbers are swelling and our base is under increasing construction. This radical defensive development is of utmost importance and it will not stop soon. As we have been handed down direct orders from the Führer, we've been tasked with the defense of missile silos soon to be placed on the island. I know many of you are afraid, but we will have sworn to our duties and as sons of the Reich, we will do so gladly." Okay. This will upset the great powers. Ah, there is plant nuclear weapons. Do we really want to increase our tensions again after everything we've done? 7.5 billion in debt as well. Well, alright, we'll do it. And then 15 for the Cape of Africa. There we go, that should be enough. Hold a speech in the meantime. Token concessions, because we do need to improve our stability. There we go, shift economy to conservatism. It's balanced, we did it. Sword of Damocles, let's go. Now we can plant the nukes. It's gonna be rough. 180 days and then all the nukes will be in here, increasing our coverage by 20%. It's mostly a Cold War mechanic, right? Oh wait, we can... Oh no. No, don't do that. We get 33% global coverage. How about the others? I want to know. Can't see, but that's okay. It'll increase by... It'll be 50%. Sword of Damocles has been completed. And now we wait. Speer felt a chill run down his spine as he read through the R&D reports on underground movements in the Reich. Are you certain this is accurate, Galen? Some of these groups, I'm sure the Gestapo weeded them out. root and stem 30 years ago. Positive, my Führer. It's likely that many junior members of such organizations were beneath the Gestapo's notice at the time. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept their beliefs in secret all these years. I trust you, Herr Gehlen. This seems beyond belief. Look at Antifaschistische Aktion? Now that's really... Hitler spared no expense in rooting out every known communist in Germany. You tell me that they survived all this time? No, my Führer, I believe that this is a copycat organization. We still find banned literatures in the hands of dissident cells. I wouldn't be surprised if some more radical members of the student movement have turned to Bolshevism for some insane reason. He almost spat the sentence out, not even bothering to hide his open disgust at such treason. Speer continued scanning the list. Then his breath caught, as his eyes ever did. Reichsbanner Schwarz-Rot-Gold. Speer didn't recognize the name straight away, but something about it seemed... of course. The SPD paramilitary with its fluttering tricolor and bizarre mixture of military men and well-groomed politicians. Attached to the organization's brief was a name, which for reasons well within Speer's understanding rattled him to the core. Spartacus. Speer looked up at Gehlen. Horrified comprehension dawned on his face. He knew his history well enough to understand. Do you mean to say that we've yet to determine the significance of that moniker, my Führer? It could be misdirection. However, yes, it is possible. It means exactly what it means. But we're trying to. I know, my Führer. But our best efforts may not have been enough. They will come, and there will be millions. The slave revolt. Most likely. Gentlemen, a toast. Glasses clinked as Erhard let out a chuckle. Then, from the group of five, it was the most powerful Wehrwirtschaftsführer Hermann Josef Abs who spoke. Say then, Herr Erhard. The tide turns strongly, doesn't it? In just a few years short, we've gone from our old Führer to something fresh and exciting. Another, Friedrich Flick, shot him a glare, but Abs merely ignored it. Oh. Erhard began drowning a shot glass. I agree. I like our new direction. Now, if I may call to attention why I brought you all here in the first place. All eyes landed on Erhard, from Abs to Flick to the silent Edmund Geilenberg and the curious Ernst von Siemens. As you're aware, the Speer administration will be doing a multitude of things, reforming the army, strengthening the economy, loosening up diplomacy, and maybe laxing a few laws of old here and there. That's all well and good, but my personal interest lies in the problem that faced Germany for decades. I'm sure you all know what it is. I will hazard a guess that this is about the slaves, he bluntly stated. And Erhard's smile merely grew. Correct, my friend. All of your companies. Ab's steady supply of smoke from his cigar stopped. Well, to make it easy to understand, they're going to be dismantled. The group collectively tensed up, and while Siemens was the least tense, Flick seemed to be on the verge of rage. I knew I shouldn't have come here. This folly of ruining my business, Erhard, I won't let you take away a percentage of my workforce. Not when I have anything to say about it. Trust me, you won't get the chance to. I'm just letting them know we're changing the way that things are done. I'm not asking them to. Damn, look at this massive ass focus tree. What the fuck? Oh, our economy will become more liberal again. Oh, it wasn't done yet. Okay. So there was no reason for waiting. But I think we can finally start, dismantling. The less slaves present, okay. More effective. There's barely any slaves in here, so bloop. That still wasn't very effective, actually. What the hell? It was rare that official letters were passed between their governments, usually restricted to under-the-table negotiations when they communicated at all. The situation called for an open hand, however. The letter penned by an articulate one. The Führer lowered the paper and set his gaze on its author, who stood before the desk. Reichsminister Helmut Schmidt has shown eagerness at the prospect of reaching out to the Americans. The letter was good, stately but not too domineering, eloquent but not too flowery. The letter was not the question. The Americans may have sent arms back when he was directing mobs of students, but now he was at the helm of his ship. Who knew what they would want? I'm sure I don't need to impress upon you the importance of the summit. You don't. The Americans want things to cool down just as much as we do. They'll have their demands, but I don't think they'll be unreasonable with our country's history of walking out of negotiations. Give them what they want, I suppose. Just be reasonable. Where's Pakistan? They still haven't risen up. It's ridiculous. Oh, just as I was saying that, there's the Pakistani conflict. And we can help out. Send military aid, advisors. I would like to send volunteers. Can I send them already? I can start off with 2, and you know what? I will. The country is more or less stable and under our control. We still need to fully carve out those mega corporations sucking our people dry. But in the meantime, we got bigger fish to fry. Pakistan, for one. Sadly, we cannot send air divisions. We can only send regular ground divisions, but that's okay. Schmidt took a deep breath. This was big, really damn big. He could not, under any circumstances, fuck it up. The Americans had actually afforded Germany an opportunity to reach out, and he would damn well take it with open arms. As he sat down with the American ambassador, he could notice that he was an older man who seemed to radiate an aura of joyfulness around him. Not a bad pick, hopefully cooperative. Greetings. His English was sharp, lightly accented, Ambassador. Walter C. Downing, was it? I'm Helmut Schmidt. He gave the man a hand. Pleased to meet you. A pleasure, Schmidt. I'm happy that the Reich finally reached out. Getting concerned that things would get hot. Schmidt shook his head. Not at all, Mr. Dowling. The new regime is quite open to change. Now, this won't be easy. Tension faded into reality. Both of them knew where this conversation had to lead. Dowling gave a short nod. Yes. I hope you've come prepared. The negotiations that the United States has in mind will not be easy to compromise on. Agreeing to this would be a historically unprecedented move, especially considering the Reich's past. Schmidt's expression darkened, but Dowling did not hesitate. The Americans always want something. I mean, we are not reformists, so this path is blocked. But in here we can still lift the embargo. We can lie to them. If we lie, we must make it realistic. We must present ourselves strongly, and while speaking the truth would be great, it might benefit them more than us. After all, it's natural to lie, but it's hard to tell the truth. And while it would set us free, would that give us money? I think soon enough we will have to start making reformist focus, since we're going down this path, right? Conservative, yeah. I think that settles it. We're gonna do a reformist campaign to counteract the conservative boost we're about to get and keep us balanced. Erhard grounds his cigar into the ashtray before letting out a disappointed sigh. Economic reports from almost every part of Germany reported the same thing. Less buildings being built, less jobs being staffed, less financial gain. It was steady, but it was pulling away from the boom that followed after the ruination of the Civil War. Those reports have been verified, Herr Erhard. In fact, it's like that some regions have underreported the slower growth that had been occurring. Still so far behind our American friends. I'll make sure we don't grind to a halt at least. Thanks for the reports. Have a good day. Should our GDP growth exceed 15%, from now on it will decrease and stabilize at 15. Oh. Okay, well for now it's not at 15. We don't have anything to worry about. I'm still surprised to this day this motherfucker hasn't collapsed yet. Okay, my troops have indeed arrived. Let's help out our boys, eh? So far it's going incredibly well. The problem is India's doing incredibly as well. So we actually have to go all the way to Lahore. In fact, strategically redeploy my troops to the north. The southern part has been, occupied, everything that we need. Oh, they're closing on Lahore. We don't want that. Lahore should be our allies. Damn it, we got cocked. Might still be able to take maybe the rest. Yeah, they also took Lahore, annoyingly enough. Peace conference? I hope. Oh yeah, we did get it. Pakistan wins. Now we're back to only the Houthi cabal, which still hasn't popped. There we go. Pakistan has joined from the Indus to the Rhine. One crisis ends, another begins. Most likely, yeah, there should be a war with Hindustan next. There will be a standoff between Japan and... oh yeah, India did join. I feel like they got the better part of the deal. I mean, we have a lot of points. Might as well spend it, right? Oh, antitrust directives. Once the Wirtschaftsführer power over the region reaches zero, the government can pass directive to oust them from the economic control of the region. Additional building slots and additional GDP growth. Thank you. There's no cartel in there anymore. That's pretty much what we keep wanting to do everywhere. The regions that have more slaves are more difficult to break. But we're getting there. I'll be back in a couple of weeks to dump even more. Second Patriotic Army. I do believe, yeah, that's Colombia. Next target. And now it's time to once again start investing into the middle class. Another one under our control. Good. And another one. Still gonna take a lot of time before we've actually established, well, until we've actually destroyed all of the cartels. But we're doing it for the love of the game. Mr. Darling, pleasure. I hope you find our country to be to your liking. Schmidt shook his hand like it owed him money, and Walter blinked at the bright sunlight that was assaulting him, but a moment after, he had left the safety of the plane. Herr Schmidt, good to finally meet you. The United States is eager for our parties to come to an agreement for our mutual benefit. Schmidt smirked behind his face. Off guard and backfooted was how they needed them. Diplomats could be so predictable when they fell back on their instructions. Of course, he wouldn't have organized this meeting without having planned every moment himself. The issue was too important to be delegated. He gestured to the vast Mercedes-Benz that waited to shepherd them away, shining a glossy black from windows to tires. Of course. First, you must see the sights. Hamburg is truly a beautiful place. I don't know if these decisions matter, so we'll go for the canals. Okay, I think we might have fucked it up. You know what? How about we go to the gardens? I don't want to fuck up on the very first decision. Actually, I don't know if that was a fuck up. Maybe the gardens are also going to have the same problem. Let's try the gardens then, eh? Even though the plants were very young and the grass still had to cover all the new flower beds, the American delegation was impressed by the effort. That is, until a diplomat stumbled upon a small earth mound while exploring a secluded part of the garden. Dislodging a few stones and revealing what was buried right below. At first, Helmut Schmidt was annoyed by the commotion, but soon, as he turned away from his conversation with the ambassador, any trace of mirth disappeared from his face alongside with its color. A human arm. It's truly sad, Herr Ambassador, but this was our only choice. I think that probably is the better decision. Helmut Schmidt wore a solemn expression as he narrated to the American delegation the story of the final days of the Battle of Hamburg, which saw reformist militias face the feared Verlorenshoffnung SS Division, tasked by Reinhard Heydrich to take the city at the beginning of the Civil War, when everyone was scrambling to establish control over so much territory and industry as possible. The division easily broke through the city outskirts and started executing anyone suspected of being a Speerite, which meant almost everyone, as Hamburg was well known for harboring reform-aligned sentiments. Then, the militias launched a pincer maneuver near the university alongside Grindali, forcing the enemies to retreat under heavy fire. While most managed to leave, a group of around 200 SS took refuge in the botanical garden, but in the end, all either died fighting or committed suicide. I beg you, try to imagine how this beautiful city was after the attack. The Reichsminister pleaded as his audience listened. 10,000 civilians had been murdered, thus hospitals full of wounded, and the universities had been turned into an emergency infirmary. And the obituaries were exploding with bodies so much that we had to store them in the market square. Hundreds of innocent and loved ones, piled like sandbags, waiting for their turn to be buried with a funeral. Finally truly understand whether they were the practice trick of an expert diplomat, or if one of those sandbags after the battle had been someone he knew. We couldn't bury them. There was no place in the cemeteries, not even for our own people. Sad as it may be, they were buried here not out of cruelty, but to avoid the spread of infection. After a minute of silence, the ambassador hugged the minister, expressing his sympathy for the population of the wounded land, and asking him if he is still able to continue the negotiations. Visibly relieved, Schmidt nodded, and they left this small piece of horrible past behind. Alright. Yeah, there's not many slaves? Wait, what? It's only 1 million. This should be more doable, I feel like. No, that's still very expensive. Barely making a difference, I guess. Wait, didn't we already free... I feel like we freed up a lot of these places. Antitrust directive? Or maybe because I reloaded That could be it. I think we hit everyone we could for the time being. Hopefully the affair with the delegation has been handled successfully. We'll have to see. For now, I think we can continue with another part of the focus, right? The Silver Tongue. Let's also get rid of slavery, I guess. Kissinger is a powerhouse of charisma, but he couldn't do things alone, not unless he coordinated plans with the Führer. And fortunately for him, his relations between him and Speer were much better off than the rest of the gang. So when they met, it was during a walk in the Volkshalle, traversing the cold, long, and massive halls of that place as they spoke. Go over your plans again, will you? It's a several-step plan. In no particular order, I would like to deal with these 3 issues. First it is difficult to keep conquests held, especially if it is from people that hold contempt from us. Wouldn't you agree? I propose a solution. We can either reform the Reichskommissariats into natively organized collaboration governments or turn them into a Reichsländer. There would be a more separate but equal deal. Not preferable and potentially unstable, though it would please the conservatives. 2 other problems? Second is the issue of slavery. It's killing us and we need to tackle it carefully. That is a plan that I will draw out later, but all of us must cooperate on it. The last dealing is the economy. Beside the conglomerates, we have to revive the businesses and... Speer's face contorted in slight noise. Speak with Erhard. I'm aware, my Führer. Don't worry. However, I know how to deal with him. So that's your plan then? In that case, I advise you to begin as soon as possible. Oh, this is something we need as well. Combat schooling. At some point, I would like to go in here. Oh, efforts against the mega corporations will increase. That's actually good for us. I can try. It's not a big difference, I feel like. Well, it might have doubled, actually. Flat income tax. Sure. We can always become more conservative with our... Because I think we should take most of the liberal policies because they tend to give us more benefits. And then afterwards, we just shift to conservatism. Perhaps that's too much dirt on the government? I don't think so. Even more liberal? Okay. Great. We have to switch over to conservatism again. Because we're unbalanced already. Oh, the Battle of Italy. I want to take them. The only annoying part is they haven't taken back the Horn of Africa to this day. I think they abandoned it. But sometimes they can take it back as far as I know. Oh yeah, German missiles in Mauritius and Reunion. They probably don't like that, huh? Too bad. We're going more conservativist. We need to fix that with a reform budget. Or like a reform campaign. Repatriation efforts will be enhanced. I think that's the whole thing that we've been doing in here, right? Let's now deal with the skilled workers. After a great deal of debate, often fueled by alcohol and conducted in a haze of cigar smoke, the Führer and his cabinet have finalized the solution to the long-standing question of slavery. As anyone knows, the approximately 40 million slaves in the Reich cannot simply be granted manumission en masse and set free. That would result in little more than social and economic chaos across Europe, along with a great deal of bloodshed. The first and most pressing concern is, of course, the nationalization of slavery. As long as slaves remain private property, they remain vulnerable to excessive exploitation and the whims of uncaring industrial corporations. The second step is repatriation. The overwhelming majority of slaves are Slavs, predominantly Polish and Ukrainian origin. Thankfully, we have extensive records of the slave system and can track each and every one of them. Starting shortly after their nationalization, the slaves will begin to be organized and sent back to the countries of origin in a steady stream. Though slow at first, we expect this Rückführungsprogramm to pick up speed as the freed slaves become more cooperative and see that our intentions are true. Nice. Yes, get our base stuff up and poverty rate improvements. Very important. It's still improving as far as I know, right? Yeah. Slowly, but it is there. And shift economy once again towards conservatism. Formation of the Comintern. Okay. It's not like full faction still, but that's okay. So what about your domestic policies? Have you convinced our illustrious ruler of their necessity yet? Kissinger, cautious as ever, finished chewing his potato before replying. Well, I think he's quite happy to fund education. I'm glad that he can see the wisdom in that, at least. The Reichstag is on board too. I assume they saw enough ill education in the party ranks to know the cause is worthwhile. Good, good. They'll feed into the economic side of things. Great thinking. As for my own field, I think this round of reforms will be a lot more difficult than the last one. The conglomerates, yes. they certainly won't make our endeavors easier. That much is certain. I'm sure you have a plan of attack drawn up years ago, though. Well, naturally, it just makes sense to have contingency plans, doesn't it? We bring back the Mittelstand. We've been building a middle class, now it's time to put it to use. Alright, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. It's a slow process, though, goddamn. And a good thing we have so many political points. I just wish there was like an easier way to press all of these ones. Oh, and Indonesia is falling apart. That's good. Repatriation is somewhat enhanced. Nice. We lose the Emerald Isle. What? No! They had only an observer status, but still. And now there's also a Karelian war in Finland. You could join us. We'd keep you nice and safe. Let's have a look. They said it improved a little bit. Yeah, 4%. Okay. Not bad. These jumps, well, could be better too. But I'm pretty sure we'll get more events in the future. Boosting the repatriation efforts even more. So I'm gonna be honest, I kind of want to go for combat schooling as well. That is gonna take us a while. Shouldn't there be like a little bit of a tension coming between India and Pakistan soon though? I feel like it should. And oh, Finland actually won, never mind. I don't know if they'll join us then. Oh, then we have 13% growth in our GDP. Let's go to our economic policy. Right now we're counting our pennies, right? To reduce inflation. I could go for... We don't need the GDP growth. I think I would rather fight poverty then. 0.10%. Yeah, at the cost of GDP growth. Which we have plenty of, and it'll increase even more in the future. And since we're capped at 15%, I think it makes sense to fight poverty instead. Yeah, still have a yearly deficit of 8%. I would like a surplus at some point. That would be nice. This will increase our GDP by 5%. Alright. The Japanese are winning. It's a shame. I would have preferred, I think, the OFN to win. Because they are more the ally that I chose. I don't have any anti-air. But that is pretty much it. We just need to build anti-air. Towed anti-air. Even more improvements for our poverty rate. I'll take it. Oh, this one's done. Nice. No cartel in Bohemia, Moravia. Oh, Jesus. We're becoming very reformist. Now that I'm thinking about it, what if we hit 500? Will we become reformist or will we become neutral? Because we might actually have to go all the way to 500. Still, the cabal is not falling, man. He might just stay forever. And let's go for the Wehrmacht problems, eh? I want to do the combat school, wherever that is. Yeah, soldiers, not machines. It does seem like it's going a lot quicker. So, quite happy with that. Still slow. That one's actually very quick. So, it's certain states are gonna fall instantly almost. And then once we got those states, other ones will follow swiftly as well. The back alley of the Kruppstrasse in Frankfurt was a damp and dingy place at night, rarely visited or checked by any of the passing guards. Flanked by 4 wings of the local Krupp factory, each producing their own variant of metalworks, it was a perfect place for meetings of the more secretive kind. Indeed, this was the exact reason why the man stood against the wall, waiting for his comrades to join him. One by one, they made their way out, sneaking over to the same wall and avoiding the lazy flashlight beams that occasionally flickered down the road. The last conspirator, a man of slim frame, squeezed out of the hole in the wall of his barracks and slid over to the wall. The first man blew a sigh of relief. He was one of the first men had prayed would return. So Rasmus, how did they respond? Wing A is ready. They're practically chomping at the bit to go now. The second man barely held in a laugh with glee. Holy shit. It's really all coming together. I never thought I'd see the day where we all grew balls and went after the Germans. It's a goddamn miracle, Mikita. Out of all the men, he had been a slave for the longest, toiling for years over the machines and tools, always at the mercy of the Nazis. Finally, the slaves were taking back some control. Jan, you wanted to be the one to start the fight, didn't you? Jan's smile whined again. Mikhail, you don't even have to ask. I started myself, with or without you. Then it's settled. Tell your friends, we're going in 3 days. We'll overpower the guards, capture the factory, and get out. And then we're free. The guard collapsed to the ground, stars whirling around his vision. In a mixture of anger and rage, he reached for his gun, raising it towards the rebellious ingrate. His shot went wide into the ceiling as a multitude of hands grabbed him, knocking him back onto the floor, wresting the pistol from his hands. Across the factory floor, the sound of chaos replaced the previous silence, and the guards could only wonder how long the slaves had waited for this day before he lost consciousness. The slave revolt, is that it? Speer wanted to bury his face in his hands. Of course this would happen to him. The only time a slave revolt ever succeeds, and it's under him. Across from him sat the men of the Gang of Four, each looking similarly downtrodden as Speer. Next to him sat Hans Speidel, calm as always, though his uncomfortable fidgeting did betray a hint of worry. Each of these men would occasionally look over to the phone of on Speer's desk, which at any second was all but certain to ring with the voice of Ferdinand Schürtner. We could already imagine the look of glee on Schürtner's face as he heard the news, and he shuddered to think of the tongue-lashing that would come. So, how many slaves were in the factory? Around 800, my Führer. Christ. And how many did we estimate are still fighting? We estimate between 200 and 300. There's no way of knowing how many are inside the wings. Speer audibly groaned. I don't see why we don't move in, take the factory back, end this mess. The amount of hostages they've gotten there. We'd be lucky if we get 10 of them out alive if we throw the Wehrmacht in. Besides that, we've already received some ground reports that students from nearby universities are aiding escaping slaves to hide from police patrols. Their reaction to a full-blown shootout may be ugly. Must we speak of politics of the matter? This is the worst hostage crisis we've faced in our history. Now, if you would allow me, I have a plan. The phone rang and each of the men tensed. It's Schürtner. We will begin downsizing the Wehrmacht. The new limit will be 100. The general recommends to prepare for the eventual limitation to 50 divisions. That's not great. So, Herr Schürtner, please calm yourself. My Führer, I will calm myself when the situation is no longer volatile. For now, we are looking at the worst slave revolt in years. How could you expect any good citizen to be calm in such a situation? So what's your suggestion, Ferdinand? I'm sure I can guess the gist of it. Send in the tanks, the armored cars, the planes, the Wehrmacht. Take them out. As fast as you can, casualties be damned. If you give them even an inch, they'll take a mile. And we'll lose control in days. We'll consider it, Speer flatly stated. Placing the phone up on his desk, Schürtner continued to rant, went unnoticed in the commotion that followed. In a moment, the gang began to shout over one another in their objections. Cries of murderous pig and idiot, which Speer decided to assume were directed at Schürtner, rebounded throughout the room. Speer's face remained unmoved. Finally, Speidel stood, and the rest of the men silenced themselves. Führer, I think you should hear me out before you make any choices on the matter. I believe your counsel had a suggestion as well, judging by that outburst. Very well. Speak, Herr Speidel. What is his plan? It's gonna be the same thing. Do you think we need to hold a speech, make token promises, because our stability is getting lower again? My proposal is similar to Field Marshal's proposal, though I will say it's a more refined and blunt solution my colleague provides. In short, there's no way that this situation can be dealt with in such a heavy-handed way. If you wish to keep casualties low, however, if we negotiate to give in to the slaves and their threats, every slave in the Reich will see us give in and assume that they can do the same. We'll see revolts across Germany within months if we give in. Mark my words. You coward. What you suggest would take far too long to do. The news will be all over Germany by the time your plan is ready. And then, Schürtner shouted to make himself audible through the phone. Speer paused for a moment to listen to the motioning for Speidel to continue. My suggestion would be to take a slow, cautious, yet tough approach on these slaves. An infiltration, coordinated with our best units, could potentially result in catching the rebels off guard. If we do this right, we could seize control of the factory without too much bloodshed. My top men have already begun drawing out a plan. You idiot, you're really not even trying to negotiate because of what you think will happen. You're no better than the butcher on the other end of the telephone, Schmidt objected. Well, what's your plan, Schmidt? Let's hear it. And while we do that, we also have to, lower all of this. It's going quicker. There we go. Another one hits the dust. We've almost nationalized slavery. Never thought I'd see the day where I would be happy about that. There we go. That's it for now. My Führer, while the other proposals your generals have brought before us could certainly hold some merit, the fact remains that they are simply too harsh to be considered. If you pull off any form of military maneuver against slave the liberals you rely on so heavily will explode. After all, would such an oppressive maneuver not directly contradict your supposed wish to see to free the slaves? No. If you wish to come out of this with your hide intact, you must come to the table with the slaves. That doesn't mean we have to give in to all the demands, of course, but a negotiation would certainly go down well with your base. You traitor, you imbecile fool. You think the slaves can be negotiated with? You think this won't encourage lawlessness? I mean, let's try, right? Why not? Herr Schurner, I've thought this over, and this is obvious solution to our agenda to be followed and believed. Besides, your solution is less of a fix and more of a massacre. My solution may not be weak enough for your bleeding heart, but it will work. I cannot in any way support such a foolish, naive choice. Well, Herr Schurner, I'll take your complaints into consideration. Schmidt, do it. And Indonesia has defeated the rebels. It's been so long since I played that. I should play as them as well. They had like a great story, I feel like. What are they doing? Jan held his binoculars tightly to his face. Next to him, Mikita watched as well as he could. I have no idea. There's a man in a suit. He's talking to the army right now. They're setting up speakers. Are they negotiating? You can't be serious. The Germans negotiating with slaves? Untermensch? It didn't happen. Besides, why would they? Mikita and Jan would never say it out loud, but they knew that. If the Germans really wanted to, they could steamroll any resistance the slaves could put up. Why would they negotiate? You must be seeing things. Give me the binoculars. Good afternoon, the voice boomed. My name is Helmut Schmidt, Minister of Foreign Affairs and lead diplomat of the Reich. I have come to discuss terms of surrender, so that none may die on this day. With your cooperation, we can come to terms. Without it, the end result of this affair will be more bloody than either you or I want it to be. If you wish to cooperate, send a sign. Jan and Mikita looked at each other. A mixture of disbelief, joy, and relief permeated through each of them. Perhaps they could succeed after all. Let's see again if we can crush the corporations. I mean, we're getting there. This one's down to 24 from 45. Yeah, I think I did most of them. I'm telling you, Herr Schmidt, we can't accept that. If we want to be free, there is not a compromise between freedom and slavery. And I must tell you that I'm working with the limited time and space here. You don't know how hard I needed to work to even get to this chance. To release you after a violent uprising? No, it would never be allowed. I need you to work with me here. Then perhaps I will remind you, Herr Schmidt, that we still hold numerous hostages. There was a silence for a moment, as both parties regarded each other. The Neither could read each other's mind. Both knew that they couldn't afford the negotiation to fall through. A bolt of inspiration struck Schmidt. Look, I can't release everyone, but perhaps I can hit a middle ground. My proposal, you and the rest of your leaders surrender, and we try you fairly. The rest of the slaves are freed, along with the hostages. If you take the deal, I promise, none of you will ever see a slave factory from the inside again. The two men on the other side of the table looked back to Schmidt. Herr Schmidt, is what we say is true? We would be happy to accept imprisonment. If our comrades are free, I'm sure the other leaders would feel the same. The prisoners couldn't see it, but the tensions of the last days evaporated from Schmidt's body as he rose to shake their hands. A miracle indeed. Hold on, Speer interrupted. You let all the slaves go free? As in, all of them? Yes, my Führer. It was the only way to a successful deal. Jesus Christ, they hear it is going to fucking shred me, Schmidt. Do you understand? The conservatives, militarists, the business, they're going to fucking shred me. My Führer, it's the only way. May I interrupt, my Führer? While the intentions of Herr Schmidt are certainly in the right place, I fear that we may see a wave of revolts among the slave populace when they learn of our softness on this issue. We need to stand our ground, perhaps raise security on major factories. For God's sake, Speidel, are you still going on about this? Your solution would have killed 100 people, probably more. Sure, there could be some arrest, but does it truly matter if we've saved lives? I'm not saying it was a worse choice. There was certainly worse proposal solutions. All I'm saying is that we need to be on guard. My Führer, all of the details are in the folder. I'm sure you can find them for yourself. Get damage control ready. We get two letters. One is praising us to high heavens for the choice. One is telling us we are filth. Hey, at least some like it, some don't. You know, you can't win them all. I told you this would happen, my Führer. Read the reports for yourself. Hamburg, 2 guards dead, 6 slaves dead, a dozen wounded. I think it's a net positive. Of course you do. You came up with it. It's done. Nothing can be done about it. Our stability is pretty low. We need to bump it up. And still to this day, the Hütte Cabal just... Dude has made a utopia somehow out of rape and slavery. What the fuck is going on? Well, he's at stage 2 devastated. He might fall apart soon then. I think there's 4 stages. Alright, let's keep going. Soon the slaves are free. This one, freed. Well, not freed. Under new management, which is us. But even the German ones, they're starting to lose grip. There we go. With this, we have unlocked combat schooling, which unlocks a lot of technology for us. Uh-oh. The number of divisions has exceeded. We need to delete some dudes. I guess we'll start by deleting these ones. This is painful. There we go. Now we're down to 60. That sucks, though. Oh, this increases the efficiency as well. So, of seizing the stuff again. We might as well go for that too then, huh? Let's listen to Erhard and keep shifting towards conservatism as often as we can. Keep holding speeches because, goddammit, our stability is horrible. This will increase efficiency against Daimler-Benz. Our GDP will increase as well. Okay, that's always good. But we're now back to being liberals. Okay, I think I know what I need to do. Liberalize our outlook a little bit more so that we can keep our stability high enough. It should also increase, our regime stability. Our soldiers undergo combat schooling or better. Isn't that what we've done already, though? Oh, and I forgot to launch the propaganda. Let's try that, huh? Why is our Wehrmacht still oversized, by the way? It should be fixed now. Or is it below 50 already? I don't think it is. It was 65. I will delete another stack just to be safe. Now we're down to 48. Oh, there we go. Another one acquired. We're so close. And Daimler-Benz is almost dead. In fact, I kind of want to focus on them until I get rid of them. Speaking of, this hasn't popped off yet. Neither is this. Will you die already? Keep shifting the economy towards conservatism, please. Efforts against Siemens increase in strength. We also want this one. Oh, there we go. Daimler-Benz is almost dead. In 2 weeks, I don't want to press this one. Seems like a waste. But in 2 weeks, Daimler-Benz will be dismantled. Ah, there we go. We're finally below. Good. Took us long enough. There we go. Dismantled. Oh, they're still not... Do they still have anything? Their power's at 0. Oh, maybe I need to... It needs to probably reset. The civil war in Colombia also continues. Send volunteers. Assistance. There we go. How many can I send? And which one was it that I could send it to? This tiny little thing. I can send 2. So I'll send 2. And no air division, sadly. But they'll arrive. Oh, there we go. Siemens also vulnerable. Ah, we need Zukunftsmusik. Which we're slowly working towards, I think, right? In here. How about the other ones? We need to buy out. Okay, yeah. We need to take a focus. So basically, we need to complete this focus tree before we can actually destroy them all. Go in here, and you, my friend, go all the way down there. Follow the supply lines to Medellin. And soon, hopefully, we'll get the airport. Okay, that's already 1. Good. Now let's see if we can get airplanes in here now. Now that they actually have an airport. It doesn't say how many I can send in. Oh, 2. Okay. There we go. We sent them in. Off to fight the next guy. Shift again to conservatism. There we go. Wait, why do they have a city called Armenia? Well, that's pretty cool, I guess. I know, like, New World cities tend to be named after Old World cities, but I rarely see it for countries. Although I guess there's a city or a town in America called Greece, I think. But we can now only send 1. But we could send 2 before. What the hell? Why are you taking away my wings? Oh, I believe we won. So, that's good at least. I wasn't even paying attention to this, to be honest. But we should be almost done in here. Seize. Seize. Yeah, Reichswerke is pretty much done. And now they're part of the Zollverein. Not bad at all. Our economic sphere is pretty damn impressive. Oh yeah, I think they're finally collapsing. Look at that. Took them long enough. Including, oh no, the Republic of South Africa. They're on stage 3 of devastation. Oh. Yep, they're completely falling apart. Everything is completely falling apart, in fact. In the meantime, keep buying all of this down. We can also invest in our dearest friends. We might do that eventually. Second South African Civil War. Whoops. Cannot involve ourselves in the Civil War, sadly. Not yet, as far as I know. As far as I understand, because I made the Cabal strength so massive, this is the percentage chance that the Volksstaat, Afrikaner Volksstaat, will join us. Cabal is falling apart. So hopefully some of these factions I think the Afrikaner Volksstaat will join us, and we might get Congo in if we support them. Oberkommando Südafrika, that's good. They could be our friends. Ooh, everything is just collapsing. There we go, the first one. Dismantled. Which gives us better laws slightly, more stability as well. Less slavery and some production. Leopoldville joins us. That's good. We gain the ability to project power in South Atlantic. It's just this tiny little thing, god damn it. We could have had it all. Well, I think it's pretty much impossible. Which I hope they would change one day, so that there's like a chance, depending on how well you do in the civil wars. Von Hassel has promised stability in Congo, the most lucrative colony of German Africa. I mean, sure. Of course, keep shifting the economy to liberalism. Oh, there we go. This one's gone. This one's close. Rijkswerke dismantled. Just 2 left. Chattel slavery decreases in effectiveness. Everyone gets more industry regulations, and poverty rate begins to improve. Minus 0.2 a month. Not bad at all. Another one out. That's IG Farben gone. Actually, they're all below what they need to be dismantled. We just need to do the focuses. And this one we finally can. The Reich program will begin its construction. Each month more slaves will be repatriated and skilled workforce growth will increase the construction of Reich. Okay, sure. Oh, and we can put in as many as we can. As much, what is this called? Production units. There we go, we got everything. Now we'll be able to dismantle it as soon as we finish the focuses. We're almost back to being balanced, quite happy with that. The Afrikaner Volksstaat has 1. Okay. Maybe they can join us. I hope they can. Oh, they first need to sort of final pieces of land in here. That's fine. Ludwig Erhard and Helmut Schmidt sat together in one of Germany's finest restaurants. Of course, one that had less obvious Nazi imagery, as both men found it would lower their appetite and give them a low sense of unease. But now they were here, Erhard drinking a small glass with strong alcohol, while Schmidt was more modest, deciding on some wine instead. With a pleasant sigh, the Minister of the Economy spoke. The resignation trick works every time. Really, I wasn't expecting him to be so asinine about it. It's like I was asking him to instate elections. No, God, no. If it was like that, I think he'd ask you to resign instead. Erhard chuckled, and would have reached for a cigar had it not been allowed. In the restaurant. I suppose, however, that you can tell me more details about this plan of yours? What? I suppose, however, that you can tell me, okay, the details about your plan of yours. Yes, it's quite simple. It's just that the plan will take a long time to implement. I'm aiming for Germany's colonies to industrialize sufficiently, you see? If you want them to stand as partners, they can't be so reliant on the old home that any economic crisis would make them buckle and crack, just as it happened in the 50s. Instead, you're going to, with my help, turn all of these colonies into shining rich jewels. Not on par with Germany itself, but at least enough to be a little self-sufficient. What if they demand independence? We'll give it to them. Eventually. If Speer isn't a fool, he'll let us build the base to feasibly stop exploiting them. If he is a fool, however, no need to worry about hypotheticals. Another drink, Helmut. Okay, we need to invest in them before we can do these ones first. For that we need political power, by the way. Which we don't have. We need a lot of political power, actually, goddamn. Dismantle IG Farben as well. All that's left is Siemens. It does give us some political power, so that's good, at least. Enact the Konjunkturpaket. For 460s, alright, we'll get started on that. Because that is what they wanted us to do. We need to complete that before we can do these ones. So, we're kind of stuck here for a little while. In which case, I will shift towards liberalism. We are balanced again, which means we should be able to take this without being erratic. Yes. Then we'll have all 4 of these ones dismantled. We will become more liberal in here again. Alright, that's good, I guess. We need to keep up so we're back to being balanced, though. Alright, with this, all 4 have been dismantled. I've been paused for a bit. I don't know for how long, but just in case, we're building up for the showdown between Pakistan and Hindustan. Some civil war in Angola is going on. I don't know if I can intervene. I don't think so. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I never want to take this one. Is there nothing that gives me less readiness? I only could take that one once, I think. They're almost at the max. While they're at... Enemy readiness is at 100? I don't think so. They're at like 2% or something. Let's click this one. We're at 100%. Now what? Serbia's silence. Nazis want Serbia is now under direct administration of the National Liberation Army. We shall cease all contact with your regime. May you all rot in hell. Okay. It's a little rude, I'd say. Belgrade shall be ours once more. Ooh, could we actually intervene in that? The great steel behemoth of the Kriegsmarine swept through the boiling waters of the Arabian Sea, hulking forms cutting sharp white wakes through the waves. Against the deep blue of the ocean stood, in stark contrast, the jet black of their superstructures, painted in blatant defiance of tactical norms. On the docks of the Karachi port, amidst the ambient low drone, beeping of alarms, and thousands of voices shouting, lay a deep sense of unease. The dock workers had seen 100 vessels arrive, and 1,000 leave, had also heard the rumors. The Germans were coming not as friends, but as new conquerors, that the movement that had liberated them from Delhi's tyranny only sought to replace it with their own. We'll have to see. The crisis shall enter into a new phase, the new decisions will be unlocked, and our opponent's readiness now comes into play. The breaking timer will begin counting. We will guarantee Pakistan. There's a breaking point, a deal was reached on one side, and one side has retreated. Okay. It's just the situation. Oh yeah, they're out. Okay, there we go. That's... They're not backing down. I think we're fucked. They're at 95 now. We got our work cut out for us, though. Oh, we will intervene in Serbia in 2 weeks. Like, manually, or... I'm down to put my troops in here. There it is. We will declare war on Serbia. We'll also have to call in everyone, of course. So I can actually access... Japanese imports. The IDE will be affected by associated events and focus. Okay. Despite us being like in a Cold War standoff with them. Yeah, move in, my boys. Serbia doesn't stand a chance. In fact, we're about to get Belgrade. Yep. Another dude into the pact. Welcome back, brother. I don't know if they were a part of the pact before, but now they are. It wasn't over yet? Oh no. Attack helicopter company. I do want that. We're halfway through the confrontation. That's good. I do need to assess them again. It's still too early to do the approach and confront the enemy vessel. I'll wait with that one. I've been saving up my CP for that. Lowered draft. I mean, yeah, sure. Get a little bit more political power. I mean, we got 6 million in the back. We don't need that much. I will not go back on my word, Schürner. We're balanced, bro. Okay, we're close to the end, I think. How many more days? Actually, it's okay still. I want to wait a little bit more before I do the final attack so they have absolutely zero opportunity to come back from this. We will win. In the meantime, we're talking about our sanctions and embargoes on Japan. We're actually getting closer, even though we're pretty much doing a shadow war between Pakistan and Hindustan. When it's like 15 or 10 days. Oh, I can de-escalate. I don't think so. It says the situation. Yeah, they haven't increased it. I think I'm gonna bump them down into oblivion. Where is it? Boom. Gather intelligence. Yeah, they're done. Hindustan is forced to recognize Pakistani independence. No power on earth can destroy Pakistan. There we go. We've won. It's a shame we can't get the rest of, get Hindustan into our faction, but I'm pretty sure that these two would hate each other's guts. So I guess it makes sense. Pakistan now belongs to Europe. Nice. Well, permanently. The tension with Japan is high. What the hell? Let's reduce it for everyone then. Balance out the two major powers. Now let's invest into conservatism, because we need that to be balanced to write the agreement. Australia tests its nuclear weapons. Good for them, I guess. Let's keep investing into these dudes. We need to get that over with as soon as possible anyway. Let's write the agreement with the Japanese. Our economy's been going up steadily, so that's nice. Alright, let's go back in here and start dealing with our conquests, huh? We've been holding off with that for a long time. Yeah, honestly, the happiness of a citizenry is more important than protectionism. We need political power anyway. Factory output. Our stability is high as is. The plight of the German companies is more important. Reduce the tariffs. Research speed. Sure. Still at 100, by the way. We balance our economy again. We will unlock a series of decisions to create a Reichsländer in our conquered territories. Okay. Theodor Oberländer looked out before his kingdom, the floor of the Reichstag, and allowed a deep scowl to spread across his face. The assembly was not in session that day, but these chambers were a place where he could think. And at the moment, Oberländer needed to think. To choose a course, he stood from his seat where he had heard so many proposals and pressed so many stamps into ink, allowing his mind to go elsewhere. The man began to pace across the Reichstag floor. As one of Hitler's ministers, it had been clear Speer would set the Reich on the right course. Oberländer had seen that for himself, as one of the first members of the reformist faction. Only fools and yes-men would truly believe that there would be no change needed after the West Russian War. As Führer, however, Oberländer could only shudder to think what idiocy Speer would attempt to carve National Socialism into. There was a reason his supporters were called Speerites and not reformers. Any true reformer would see that what inoperable madness Speer's real plan contained. But even a Führer did not rule alone. Oberländer had been the sole voice of reason then, and he would continue to be so now. The German people, he believed, would listen to intelligence and reason over the rhetoric of firebrands. The party could easily be led to see such a change had to be done with a light hand. Speer could be kept in check if Oberländer held him to account. That would be the doctor's solemn duty, he swore to himself, his final act of vigil in the empty Reichstag. Such was his focus on the promise that he did not notice an aide approach him until the boy spoke. Herr Oberländer, the Führer would like to speak with you. Oberländer disliked the casual tone with which the child spoke to him. Speer did not grasp the difference between a true reformer and a rebellious youth mindlessly rejecting that which his parents had taught him. A sneer found his face as he replied, "If the Führer wishes." Peace breaks in Colombia. Ooh. Could we intervene in that? I don't believe we can. Yep, there's no global conflict for us. We'll become even more conservative for a while. Oh damn, that's a lot of conservatism that we need to get rid of. Nationalist action victorious. Okay, so we did get our preferred man in charge. He's not going to join the Einheitspact as far as I know. But it's nice to have him. There we go. We'll click the final ones in here. Fate of the East. Oh, those are the Reichsländer. Yeah, establish them. The fuck? They declared war on anarchy. How does that work? Yeah, everyone's declaring war on the anarchy state. It doesn't have a name. And it's gone. No, keep pushing towards liberalism again. We gotta get back to balanced. I mean, if we're only allowed 30, might as well make 50. We might as well make them beefier. Like right now, back towards airplanes, I guess. Sure. We get attack helicopters. I want to see. That's an initiative, way more breakthrough, decent amount of heart attack. Alright. I think I'll do this. From the decrepit wings, can we forge the Luftwaffe anew? I mean, we can certainly try. No more favors. We will go sweeping reforms. Actually, we should probably train up our units as well, huh? Since we have such a small amount, we might as well be proper units. You're strongly conservative. How come? Put that back, please. Next up, we gotta deal with our navy real quick. And then we'll have Germany be a superpower once more. Battle of Samarkand. Oh, does that mean that we can interfere in there too? I know we can sometimes. I hope. The prodigal son. Wait, the Turkish government petitions for pact observer status. That's actually great for us. Can we see? No, I can't really see the observer status anywhere as far as I know. Oh yeah, there's even a culture memo. That's cool. Total reform. Let's go. I'm assuming that means it's better, no? Because we've been stagnant for so long. You want to improve. So how's this going these days? Okay, we're over a third of the way there. That's good. That's good. Okay, we're back to neutral. That's good. Just need to do our economic policy a bit better. 3 more pivots towards liberalism should do it. 26, 28. Not too bad. We're close to being back to balanced. Okay, Singer demands... Okay. He demands us to become more liberal with healthcare and education. We don't have a choice, apparently. Sure, but it does bring us back to being balanced one step closer. Just don't want to go through erratics too much. I'm pretty sure that bumped us. Actually, no, that didn't destroy our our GDP that bad. Go away. Another erratic one? Are you kidding me? Okay, now at least we're balanced. It did cost me like 0.5 GDP growth, which isn't too great. And we still need oil. Producing 4.6. We're using 17k. Alright, more synthetics please. Wherever we can, really. Germania rules the waves, of course. Makes complete sense. Oh, can finally do the social state or the social market. I don't know which one I want to do. I'm thinking maybe the social state sounds good to me. And then maybe Europe's dream. Ooh, wouldn't be too bad. No, we're liberal. We gotta balance it out again. And by the time that we have balanced it out, we will actually be able to take the guiding hand or firm chain. This is at the cost of GDP growth. I mean, we're only at 9.3. We can go up to 15, so I do want to take this one instead. Kazakh Civil War? Is that the thing that gives us... No. That's this Civil War. That's not the thing that allows us to integrate one of these tiny boys into the Reichspact. So the Reich stability looking at these days, huh? 94, yeah, we're totally fine. And now we're back to being balanced as well. Germany shall once again prove itself a military superpower. Hell yeah. That Reich Wehrmacht is reborn. Nice. And now we can go for the guiding hand and finish up our economic tree as well. And we're so very liberal. We gotta be careful. Do you want Europe's needs? I think we kinda have to. Because otherwise our economy is gonna get affected. It's already not the most healthiest one. Oh, never mind. Oh, our stability is down the drain. And now it's back up. We should be able to do it. Damn it! It got cancelled again! Alright, foreign policy, intelligence agency. Increase our regime. Increase our regime stability. That should once again allow us... not yet. It will soon allow us to do the European dreams. But at least that'll help us, you know... That'll give us time to go back to conservatism. Because we're still liberal. It's gonna bump us up to probably 35, 36. It's a lot of buttons that we need to press for that one. There we go, conservatism, back at it again. We're up down to 69, that's not great. 64, up to 60. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Diplomacy in the wasteland. One of the great victories of the past decade was not only the destruction of the cancerous heart of Bolshevism in the form of the Soviet Union, but also the annihilation of the unified concept in Russia and its colonies. Never again would the Slav dare rebuild a state to rival the might of the Reich. And in the absence of the strict authoritarianism of its successive governments, the illiterate Russian peasant would revert to its base instinct of violence and raiding for any meaningful future. Or at least so we thought. Joining the first Führer in his dismissal of the Russians, then came the West Russian War, and while officially we swatted the Bolshevik hordes aside with ease, in reality the state was severely weakened by the conflict, and the integrity of our eastern lands was considerably compromised even up to this day. Now the specter of this conflict rears its ugly head again. While we long expected there would be some sort of unification attempt between the unorganized warlords of European Russia and Western Russia Siberia, following the suspension of our punitive air raids during the Bruderkrieg, an unexpected development was the reformation of the Siberian states thought collapsed in the 50s, thanks to the combination of foreign interference and refurbished Soviet industry. Now, Russia has been rapidly coalescing into two power blocks faster than what any analyst thought possible. And what's worse, they appear to be engaging in diplomacy with each other, and reunified Russia cannot be allowed to happen. While we would, of course, win any potential conflict, the cost of lives, money, damage to our Reichskommissariats could easily be prohibitive. We must direct our intelligence services to sabotage their efforts. Interesting. Okay, we are conducting a special mission right now, but maybe in the future, once that one's done, we can do it. You know what, we'll do the Reich's needs then. I don't feel like waiting too much longer. Uh-oh. Black Sun Rising. Our operative will be ready for a new task. We'll ramp up espionage in the Oranstadt, increasing the likelihood of its downfall. Ooh. That's that mission that we completed, right? There we go, the Reich's needs have been completed. A bit erratic, but our economy didn't suffer too much. Now, get towards liberalism. The payments to the Zollverein budget will increase by 5%, while the German budget payout increases by 5%, sure. Oh, we are not reformers, so it's all gonna go to us. Pushing us even further into conservatism. We gotta be careful. 5 times we need to press that button? Damn, that's gonna take us a while. We don't even have it right now. Grigori has always carried the hate passed down from his father. There was a spirit in him, unconquered, unbroken, unwilling to bend to the will of the Aryan scum. But he had nothing to show for it, only working day by day to toil himself and serve as a slave to the Germans. It's all he would be, and remained to be. Then it was almost better to simply cease to exist. The thought to grab the nearest metal object and rush a guard crossed his mind. But never in the years he has worked here did he carry out that glorious fantasy. Perhaps he was a coward for doing so. And would always remain a coward, until one day a shrill voice stood tall over him and the rest of the non-Germans present in the factory. He didn't understand much of their language, choosing to almost instinctively work against learning it. He had still learned fragments of it, enough to learn and piece together one crucial fact, that the first German worker would come here, beginning his shift. Even though the silence afterwards spoke for itself, the guards didn't motion for any increased vigilance. Instead, they seemed to show a relief that their fellow brethren would work here. Grigori, however, had other ideas. Only minutes afterwards did the first worker began tickling in, and I won't say that the light in his eyes had shone in a way previously unknown. He could tell what the sinking yet exciting feeling in his gut was, that this was a time, and he would get no other time. Perhaps it was the fact that the guards were lax from the German workers, perhaps that the other Russian and Poles and Ukrainians decided to ignore the fact that Grigori seemed to tense up as if he had seen the murder. And perhaps the German was approaching him mistook his feelings as fear rather than fury. What was for certain, however, was the chaos that ensued when Grigori grabbed the nearest metal object, screaming in a voice coarse and unused. Rage overfilled every inch of his body, and he swung harder than he'd ever swung before. The sickening crack that echoed through the factory was quickly drowned out by shouts and bootsteps. The German falling to the ground like a puppet with a string cut. As Grigori unrelentingly continued, it took no less than 6 men to tear the murderous machine away from the man bleeding profusely on the ground, and only minutes later did silence come over the factory floor again. Just an industrial accident. He fell into a machine called Grigori. Our research expenditures in the economy tab is at maximum investment. Okay. Is this what they mean? Yes, they did. Let's take it. We're up to 14.3% growth. The only thing holding us back is our extremely high deficit, which is unmanageable. 16%. We made our own computer. Nice. Now all that's left is the economic tree, right? In here. Alright, let's get to it. Nice, we completed our focus tree with that. And are an unstoppable machine. Get back to liberalism, we're still 3 points away. We're 2/3 of the way with the train program being finished. Quite happy with that. Once more to liberalism, oh, only 2 away. We've essentially re-established ourselves as a superpower and a global economic hegemon. Not to mention the Einheitspact. Pretty damn bussin'. It is a shame that Italy went its own way, but sadly we have no way of influencing that. But it would have been nice because we could have gotten the entire region in here under our control. So we'll have to instead settle for the Arab Spring that'll follow soon and get those ones in the Einheitspact instead. 2/3 of the slave repatriation is also done. It's going pretty quick as well. 3% a month. Once somehow we're at 16% GDP growth. I don't know how we did that. And what the hell? 0.5% of poverty rate gets deleted each month. That's incredible, actually. And our poverty rate will get even better. Dude, that's great. Thank you. Now, in the meantime, keep shifting our economy back to liberalism. We're almost back to being balanced. Okay, it went back down to 15. That is sadly still a thing. And there we go. Liberalism, we are now back to being balanced. GDP will increase by 0.25 as well. Oh, and this will further increase the repatriation of the slaves. Not that it really matters, we're at 76. Wait, looming national power outages. Let me fix that then. Put them at the top of the queue, please. We need more power, apparently. Within the next 6 months, we will suffer national power outages. I don't think, yeah, I haven't had a single loss so far when it comes to the geopolitics. That's great. I mean, I usually do pretty well, but I feel like this one especially is going well. And our economic zone also, incredibly powerful. Might be the most powerful one on the planet. I kind of want to see how the repatriation is going month per month. In here it says 2.95, but I feel like it's more. It increases by more each month. Right now it's 79.4. What will be at next month? November 1st just hit. I want to see. Okay, 3%. Well, it's actually pretty much what it says over here on the 10. So never mind. Thought it would have been more. The solution of the West Indies. Oh. Okay. That means a weaker offen for us, I guess. Ordenstad Burgund has collapsed. That is actually perfect for us. Hopefully. I don't know if we can actually get involved, but I would love to. I'm gonna just put my troops in here just in case. You never know. Should pump out a lot of airplanes, please. There we go. Look at the amount that we have. We should be able to destroy anything that even dares to try and fight us. Prepare for the imminent invasion of the treacherous Odenstadt. Yeah. Where is Falschwarz? Is it the decision? Honestly, I got no idea. Because we're out of focuses. I don't see anything in here. Oh, there's Falschwarz. Damn it, I'd rather just move in right now already. Germany's builder should move westwards? Sure. They've defeated Belgians already? That's not good. Only 10 days have passed. Please let me join in already. Oh, they've defeated everyone. Does that mean that the Valschwarz is no longer, No, it's still a thing, so we could still move in, most likely. I just hope no nukes will be involved. Why does Nantes have no culture? I mean, I get that they're French, but that seems a little insulting. In less than 30 days, we'll finally be able to do the declaration on Himmler. Get rid... What the hell? He looks a little different. Oh, finally, we're I think 2 months away before the repatriation is done. And I think a couple of days before, yep, the black sun will set. And I guess we can call everyone in, right? Just so we have better access. Yeah, move. Air Force, move, please. And we are absolutely destroying them. Is it done? I think it's done. Victory over the Ordenstadt. Perfect. France gets Paris and I get more land. I think everyone wins that way. Technocratic government in Turkey collapses. Sucks for them. Argentina becomes a nuclear power. Everyone is becoming a nuclear power, I feel like. Oh, there we go. Next step forward. We've repatriated everyone. Well, economic overview. Okay, those are all the members. We haven't repatriated everyone yet. But I'm hoping we will in due time. Where are the slaves then? I'm guessing still in Moscow. We've repatriated everyone else. Of the things that we own directly. Well, own directly is maybe a strong word. Everything except for the Militärbezirk. Are these all trained up fully? Not quite. Almost though. I mean, we might as well train everyone up, right? French Fourth Republic. You better stay with me, motherfucker. Republic or no. Let's also not forget to make advanced helicopter divisions. Independence for the United Arab Emirates. Ooh, interesting. I think that means that the Middle East is starting to collapse into hopefully some revolts. Oh, our inflation is critical. That's not good. Let's count our pennies then, so we can get rid of some of the inflation at least. There we go. It's finally starting. The nations are collapsing. I got plenty of airplanes ready to send them out to everyone. There's the Yemen Republic. I don't want to do this one, but I would like to help them out technically. And increase our commitment. Ooh, yeah, to everyone. And of course, adapt. So, Yemen, my bestest of friend. I can send 3 units. Enjoy this, and, well, we can't really send any airplanes just yet. But once they do have an air force, well, they actually do have an air base. So maybe we should be able to send some. Oh, there are the decisions. Yeah, send in. I don't want to bomb. I'm just going to send in some more. Our investments into the Middle East grow. That's actually good, because the more it grows, it says, the more we get out of it after we win. And I do think we'll win. My units have also arrived. I think I'm going to slow down time then. No, I cannot send any airplanes, sadly. That really sucks. Oh, yeah, we got the port. And now Oman also falls apart. We cannot send anything to anyone just yet. There we go. This should be it, right? How about now? Can we send in... Don't authorize anywhere. Get more involved. We are now notably involved. Okay, which Egyptian one can I send it in? This guy, okay. Let's send some in. 4 units to this motherfucker. No airplanes, sadly. I don't know why. And in here we can also send someone in. So of course we will. Then all that'll be left is Iraq. I just don't know which one yet. Is it the Ba'athist? It should be the Ba'athist. No, it is not. Oh, they're not at war yet, so that makes sense. First 1-1. Oh, preparing for the Saudi intervention. They will eventually come in. Makes sense. Sadly, in here, we still cannot send air forces in. Our troops have not yet arrived anywhere else. Sudan should have exploded as well eventually, right? Stop training these motherfuckers. Muslim Brotherhood, blah, blah, blah. We don't care. But, there we go. The next guy is also exploding. I don't know why I can send air forces in. That seems a little silly. I think it's with the new update, probably. And there we go. Sudan also in. Which Sudan can I help out? This one. The middle one, which is kind of annoying. Because they have to fight from both sides. Okay, these motherfuckers have arrived. Let's go to Alexandria, Rosetta. Yeah, take the VPs, please. And now the oil crisis are up. Ah, great. Exactly what we needed. Well, we are out of focus, so it doesn't really matter to us. Our Iraqi troops have not yet arrived. We have sent in, right? Yeah, we've sent in the Iraqi troops. Dhofar should be winning with this. Oh, and our dudes have arrived in here as well. Go to Basra. And you straight in here. Due to our either indecisive or conservative economic policy. What do you mean indecisive? We are balanced. Sulfurine's economy is collapsing. That's not good. I'll provide more support. I don't care. I don't want them to actually accidentally collapse. They will stay in our faction, goddammit. Oh, we encircled these two dudes. Assuming it's actually two, I don't know. Social tensions worsen? Is this how the Spartacus rebellion happens? No, we've defeated one of the motherfuckers, that's good. Social tension increase, that's not great either. Oh, the economy is collapsing, that's also, oh. Declare martial law, sure. Oh, yeah, these dudes have arrived. I did not see them. These dudes can also be sent out, hopefully. Sudan survives long enough because I kind of forgot about them. I think Oman should be almost done, right? Of course, increase our commitment even more. Do we seize oil reserves? No. I'll leave it to them. Okay, we defeated one of the dudes. One left, I think. The most difficult one might actually be Sudan. Because, you know, I didn't pay attention to them too long. Such a shame I cannot send my airplanes in. Madagascar has also survived. That's one load off of my chest. Yemen has declared war on the Saudis. What the fuck? Alright, I'll send in some dudes, I guess. Hopefully they'll survive long enough for that to actually matter. Okay, Egypt we've also won, right? Egypt is finished. The rest is not yet. Oh, we actually won. That's perfect. These dudes can come back home then, right? And here we gotta keep going. Our Yemen troops have also arrived. Move them in. Got advanced helicopters. Perfect. And I think Oman might be soon finished. Maybe let's put a leader in here as well, just in case. How's Iraq going? It could be better, could be worse. I'll put it that way. Okay, that's one of the Sudanese dead. Let's go to the capital so we don't lose it accidentally. Same with Iraq, we won one of them. Oh, Sudan is dead. Okay. I think, well, the bad Sudans are dead. We have won. Interfere with the Turks Keynes conference. That's actually perfect. I want to do that. I just pressed every single one of the decisions. Oh, another one fell. Perfect. Just have one left. All that's left is Iraq and Yemen. Yemen, it's gone both well and not so well. I see some of our dudes did get encircled. Which, you know, let's try and get them out. Iraq also won now. And anti-OFN protests in Iceland. That's perfect for us. Oh, Arabian Republic has been established. Perfect. Complete dominance. Icelandic campaign begins. Okay. That one I never really know how to do it. But from the advice that I got, essentially never do the blackmail. Appeal to the opposition and run a positive message. Oh, repatriation of slaves will be halted indefinitely. Uh-oh. The gang can surely figure it out? I don't think so. I think the Führer knows best. Keep distributing propaganda as well. Raise suspicion of Japan, increase German support. Tensions are pretty high. They might come to war. And if it does, you know, so be it. What the regime stability minus 30, that's not good. Okay, we're still at 50. For now. Oh no, the wheel turns is when I completely perish, I think. We definitely don't want that happening. The United Arab States, you think they will join me at some point? That would be nice. There we go, we can do a bunch of stuff to fix everything up, hopefully. We can implement economic reforms. We got most of the support now, so that's good. The Shah was also assassinated, so we can also influence Iran soon. Okay, it's not going well. Let's run a negative message, maybe. Appeal to the independence. There's the Iranian civil war. Okay. So many things all at once. Send weapons, send vehicles, industrial aid. The problem is we're also... the ones that we have to support is, I'm pretty sure, this one, right? Okay, imperial reforms are stagnant now. That's good. The economic reforms, rather. Not imperial reforms. Yeah, Iran, can I send you some dudes, please? Why can't I send anyone? We have no reason. We do have a reason. We want to move in. Why can't we send anyone in? Come on. Oh, I think now we will be able to, right? Hello? I should be able to. No reason. What do you mean? I'm actively sending stuff to them. Maybe in 2 days. 1 day. Expand. Okay, finally. It's only 2 that we can send in. What the hell? At least we can also send an air wing in. But I think we should be able to do it because for once we can send airplanes in. They should help out our helicopters tremendously. Will this actually give us what we need? I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lose Iceland. I don't know why. Usually I win these. This time around I suck at it. Also, why is our reputation only acceptable? Yeah, so much for getting Iceland out of here. Speer saves the kids. Good, I guess. Infighting is a Jewish plot, of course. Definitely. Another one has fallen. That's perfect. Another one. And the final one. I mean, I struggled there for a little bit. Then the alliance collapsed, so I didn't expect them to fall apart this quickly. Thank you, though. Oh, we removed 15 days. That's not great, I think. Because then it'll be pretty much over. Oh, I didn't even realize Baluchistan, they got them back. I hope they'll join the Einheitspact then, at least. Yes, they do. Look at that pact. It's pretty decently sized, huh? The Russians have unified into a republic. Okay, I don't know who that is, though. Oh, this has failed. I do wonder what that gives us, though. Greetings, comrades. The thick Bavarian accent of the German came from the shadowy figure holding a beer bottle on one hand and what seemed like a shotgun in the other. Who, you might be asking yourself, is this bizarre assailant haunting my television and my radio? A hearty laugh escaped his throat as the figure slapped his knee. Let me send you a message, my friends. From the Reichsbanner, combating the Reich in the dark, fighting in the name of anti-fascism. There, my friends. Do you see? They shoot us, kill us, oppress us, and will we take the standing? No. So fight, goddammit. The roar of gun drenched in illumination on this wielder's last moments. Die for freedom. That might mean we get the slave revolt soon. Uh-oh, we lose some more stability in our regime. Although we do have a decent amount currently, so it should be fine. The Reich is dying? Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Let's get our stability up. And so starts the next chapter of Europe's history. What? Are we gonna fall apart? Uh-oh. But I made a big Einheitspact. Albert Speer's architectural house of dominoes begins to fall. I'm sorry, I'm not following you. You're saying there's a rebellion on? I'm not saying there's a rebellion. There is a rebellion. They're all over the place. The diplomat's voice cracked over the radio. The rattle of rifle fire. So it's another slave rebellion. Well, shit. Do what we did with the last one. No, Helmut, you don't understand. This isn't some slave revolt. The whole fucking city is up in arms. They've got Reichsbanner flags. They're chanting Reichsbanner. A shot of excitement fired up Schmidt's spine. Shit, are you sure? We can't put this down. They've got guns, they got ammo. I think they've stolen a few tanks. Oh shit. I've got to go. We're evacuating. Warsaw is lost. I repeat, Warsaw is lost. Everything's falling apart. This definitely feels like the time I played as Guangdong. I was doing so well until up at the very end, the final stretch. I just fumbled and lost the entire campaign. Kherson abandoned Kiev. Oh, that's not good. Everything's falling apart. Unbekannt joins the Armeeverband Freies Europa. Uh-oh. The slaves will destroy all prisons and states they control? That's not good. Soviet is falling. Our empire is crumbling, man. Schörner's in control. Belarus overrun. Damn it, all that effort that we went through just for it to collapse. Oh, we can just fight off the... Willy Brandt was now in support of the slave revolt. Galen gave a smile as he recovered the thick document and allied her with each hand. My Führer, I have an interest in keeping things as is here. As a list of all terrible things you did during your tenure as a Minister of Armaments and War Productions, here is your freedom. Choose wisely, Herr Speer. One will end you, the other will free you. Yeah, the Gang of Four pranked me. God damn it. They seized Baku too? Oh no, Deutsche Freikorps. Wait, did we win? I think we might have won. Or, yeah, no. I don't know actually. Okay, the slave revolt begins. And we will be able to field more units now. 72 in fact. Riots also break down in Guangdong. Oopsie doopsie. I got bigger fish to fry though. New decisions and focuses are available. Okay. This restores trust. Show both decisions. Right now, we don't really have much. Send in the Orpo. Our stability... Well, we don't have a choice. Send in the R&D. Seize the Baltic Island. Nice. That's our core now. Emergency funding. Temp negotiations with the students. Sure. Then we'll launch Fall Otto. The gang is intervening. How dare you? I gotta press the button. We're not letting them take it. This will increase our Reich regime stability. Very important. Fortify St. Petersburg, of course. Grant emergency funding, of course. Temp negotiations, of course. Send in the Orpo, of course. So token promises and yeah, I do want to keep up my regime stability if we can. Stop them from intervening. Send in the R&D as well. Which for some more delegates, please. Arab unification. Ooh. The United Arab Republic. I'm hoping they might join us because we helped them out so much. Work with Reimer, yes. Centralized apparatus, yeah. We're almost ready for the invasion. And we've almost built up our extra units. There we go. A blue team and a red team. With that, we'll be able to push in to the enemy when the time comes. I mean, I'd love to attack. I cannot right now. These need to be like up to 32% before I can pump them out, sadly. You know what? Fuck it. We'll just declare war anyway. We'll pump them out afterwards. What are we fighting? With the Reichskommissar? Alright, let me just load it up again, just to be safe. I thought it was going to be against the slave revolt, but no. We can just keep him... Oh, the game crashed. Okay. There we go, we're back. Hopefully it doesn't crash again. Back to working with the Reimer. Send in the Orpo. Negotiate with the students. Emergency funding, why not? But yeah, apparently it's through here instead. Going straight into Moscovian. Get some air bases in here as well. Oh, there we go. We've got a bunch of land. We'll still move in though. Fall Otto, here we go. Yeah, be very aggressive, my boys. They should not stand a chance against us. Especially not considering the following. Despite us being very aggressive in our attack, we're absolutely crushing the enemy. Oh, you know what? Fuck it, call everyone in. Might be easier that way, eh? Once again, out of oil, it seems. And I keep forgetting about this. Which forces me to get lower amounts of delegates. Because I keep forgetting to press the buttons. Giving the Japanese a chance. We can do free trade. Ooh. You know, fuck it, why not? Oh, I didn't realize there was like... Yeah. I did not realize there was a bit of that going on. There we go. Our second full army stack. I mean, I could push them in here. Why not? If they can make it to there. Conclusion of the Turkey's Canes. Okay. There's a war in the end. No one gets them. Because I was too distracted. Damn, the Turkestan Legion is massive now, though. They'll win against everyone, apparently. Okay. Good, I guess. Oh, there we go. Wait, they went to Iran? What the fuck? That is messed up. That's my puppet. I'm not sure that's how it's supposed to work. Oh, and Turkestan actually joined us. Oh, it actually worked. Nice. Oh no, so they didn't go to Iran. They just capitulated. That's all that happened. There's the peace deal. I believe that's it. Yep. Caucasian came back and Pact Commission Rusland. And so Moscovian withers. Now what? What about the slave rebellion? The rebels reach out. This will lead us to agreements within Speer's vision. Schmidt cannot defy him so openly. Okay. Slavery will be abolished. I mean, it's kind of what I was looking for. And there we go, freedom. Now, I do need you motherfuckers to rejoin me. Otherwise, slavery is back on the menu. And the Nuremberg laws, of course. Brothers, Egypt is behind us. Our promise awaits. Why? They're not joining our faction or anything like that, as far as I know. Partial freedom of speech? Don't think so. We gotta have like a balanced approach. Breaking up monopoly? Of course. Partial democratization? No. Herr Schmidt, I suppose I should let you know. Not that it is wise of me to do so, but... Well, I've already started, haven't I? Schmidt leaned against the tinted window, waiting. Brandt looked to have traces of nervousness rise in his throat. I'm going to flee to the US. I thought I should let you know. I cannot assist you in Germany or elsewhere. All that would net me would be a hanging. A shame, but at least Reichsbanner has done its duty. Schmidt gave a slow, understanding nod. I suppose I could admit something to you too, my friend. I don't know what's going to happen. Something tells me if I come home to Berlin, I will see that Speer has gone mad. That it will all end there. Then it will truly be the last days of Europe. Hey, they set that line. Maybe it's my growing paranoia. We'll have to see. And so the fate of Germany becomes clear. Penal labor instead of chattel slavery. Okay, everyone is back in. Oh, Speer has like a fancy hat now. The rebellious gang shall be reined in. Interest rate is in the negatives. I don't know how that works. We're gonna earn money off of our loans? That'd be pretty impressive. At least our economic sphere is ridiculously big. Non-aggression pact with the Iberian Pact? Sure. Why not? The time of German isolation has ended. The mission's to do their job. It's time to build relations with the nations of the world. Okay. So we're not comically evil. Just not particularly good. There we go. We're about to make a German version of the United Nations. Discount United Nations. Here I come. There we go. We've made it. To the end of the campaign. It seems that some things never die. As the NSDAP under Speer was shaken but appears to be on the path of recovery, the Gang of Four, however, is being put under the heel of the Führer. Whatever the future may grant, it will be a struggle. But should the right people prevail, it will be one of National Socialism. From the entire Speer team, thank you for playing. We hope you enjoyed it. And I did. This is it for the Sphere. I feel like we probably could have done a little bit better, or if we were, a little bit luckier mostly. Iceland, it's my bad. Other than that, I was just unlucky that Italy didn't join us because we didn't get the opportunity to fight for them. But yeah, maybe next time. Regardless, this looks pretty damn sphere-maxed, all things considered. Everything that failed except for like Iceland was out of our control. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this series. Hopefully I'll see you next time. And hopefully you have a nice day. Bye-bye.